Chapter 195. After waiting anxiously for a few days, the creatures from the archaic god mountains had finally come. Although he had already expected this, when he truly saw the overwhelming number of archaic life forms surging over, he was still shocked. Even Nalanjan's hands, which were hidden within his sleeves, were faintly trembling. The scene made people's hearts tremble. It made them feel oppressed and terrified. All the human cultivators looked nervous and panicked. The situation was too hopeless. Celestial demon spiders appeared in the demon spirit's godly mountain. Their chi was monstrous, and their legs were as sharp as black spears. A group of stone giants appeared in the southern meteorite godly mountain. They ran over, and the ground shook as they crashed into mountains. A group of creatures surrounded by flames appeared in the fire godly mountain. They were from the fire spirit clan. They were born with an affinity for fire and were very strong. There were also the azure sky great rocks from the azure sky godly mountain. They flapped their azure wings and created a storm. In addition, there were many other godly mountains. All kinds of ancient creatures surrounded the archaic spirit mountain. Is this the last stronghold of the human race? It's going to be destroyed today. A giant golden spider appeared in the demon spirit's godly mountain. It was filled with Saint Chi. That's Ancestor Golden Spider from the demon spirit's godly mountain. Many of the older cultivators gasped. Ancestor Golden Spider was a very senior ancestor of the demon spirit's godly mountain. He had been sleeping for a long time. Nobody would have thought he would appear today. Ancestor Golden Spider alone could probably fight against two human saints. A saint from the stone giants of the southern meteorite godly mountain said, "Hurry up and destroy this stronghold. Don't give the human race any hope." That's right. The 10 worlds are in chaos. It's time for the ancient races to rise, said a saint from the fire spirit clan from the fire godly mountain. His tone was cold and murderous. When the human cultivators heard the words of the saints from the archaic godly mountain, their expressions darkened. In their words, the human race was like animals that could be killed at any time. They didn't care about them at all. At that moment, a young man in a blue robe walked out of the azure sky godly mountain. "Nalan clan, do you still remember me?" "You?" "Lin Feng." Nalan Ruashi covered her mouth with her hand. Her beautiful eyes were wide open. She was astonished. Hadn't Lin Feng been severely injured by Jun Xiaoyao and was on the verge of death? Logically speaking, with his injuries, it should be impossible for him to survive. When Lin Feng saw that the members of the Nalan clan were astonished, he smiled coldly and said, "Before killing Jun Xiaoyao with my own hands, before taking my revenge on the Nalan clan, how could I, Lin Feng, die?" He looked at the Nalan clan with an extremely cold expression. The Dong Xiandao sect was just one of Lin Feng's target. The ones he really wanted to take revenge on were Jun Xiaoyao and the Nalan family. When the human cultivators saw Lin Feng come out of Qing Tian Godly Mountain, they were astonished. Lin Feng was a human, how come he was on the same side as ancient cultivators? When the Dongxian sect leader saw this, he reacted abruptly, his tone cold as he said through gritted teeth, "Lin Feng, so it's you." He finally understood why the Dongxian Dao sect had suffered such a sudden and swift attack. Turned out that it was all because of Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled coldly and said, "Indeed, I led Qing Tian Godly Mountain to attack you first, because you deserve to die. Lin Feng, you bastard, as a human, you are on the side of ancient cultivators. Yes, you don't deserve to be a human." In the ancient spiritual mountain, many human cultivators were cursing loudly. Lin Feng's face became gloomier and gloomier. He had no choice but to side with the ancient cultivators. Without the help of Qing Tian Godly Mountain, he couldn't take revenge on Jun Xiaoyao and the Nalan family. I don't care what you say, you're all going to die anyway." Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. Nalan Zhan stepped out and glanced at the ancient godly mountain. He said in a deep voice, "You killed so many people, Aren't you afraid of offending the young master? Nalan Jan's words made the noisy world go silent for a moment. All of the archaic life forms knew who the young master that Nalan Jan spoke of was. Some of the ancient cultivators looked a little scared. After all, he was the descendant of an immortal group in the celestial region. Everybody was scared. However, most of the primordial beings didn't show much fear on their faces. So what if he's the descendant of an immortal group? The clans of the ancient clan can't control the lower world, not to mention the Archean royalty, said ancestor Jin Zhu from Demon Spirit's Godly Mountain. If they were really scared, they wouldn't have started such a riot. Lin Feng boasted even more shamelessly. If that Jun Xiaoyao dares to come, I, Lin Feng, will definitely take his head to appease the spirits of the Lin clan in heaven. How dare you? You can't slander the young master, shouted Nalan Ruashi. To her, Jun Xiaoyao was a symbol of hope and yearning. She would never allow anyone else to say such slanderous things about him. Nalan Ruashi, you bitch, I will make you pay for what you said Lin Feng ferociously. This young girl was supposed to be his fiancée, his slave. But now, she was protecting another man. Even if he hated Nalan Ruashi, Lin Feng couldn't let another man steal her heart. There's no need to talk to ants. Kill. An ancestor from Azure Sky Godly Mountain attacked. He took the lead, followed by ancestor Jin Zhu, the saint of the Fire Spirit clan, and the other ancient cultivators. Pulling one hair would affect the whole body. A chaotic battle instantly broke out. Activate the deployment spell, shouted Nalan Jan. Countless deployment spells appeared on the ground of the Nalan clan's ancient spiritual mountain and turned into rings of light. Among them, there were defensive formations as well as offensive formations. However, when facing the menacing army of primeval beings, these formations were at most capable of delaying them, and it was utterly impossible for them to completely obstruct them. Kill. Kill these ancient cultivators. Either you or I will die in this battle. If we take a step back, we will all die. All the human cultivators attack. If they didn't attack, they would be slaughtered. It's futile. The Fire Spirit clan's saint from Lihua Godly Mountain waved his hand. Endless red flames filled the sky. A saint of the human race had also made a move. However, they were inferior to the ancient God Mountain in terms of numbers and strength. They could only resist. All kinds of martial arts and great spells collided with each other, bursting out endless waves. The ancient spiritual mountain, which was originally beautiful, turned into a scorched earth in an instant. Soldiers against soldiers, generals against generals. A few human saints were struggling to resist the saints of the ancient God Mountain. The remaining strong cultivators were also fighting in pairs. Lin Feng locked his eyes on Nalan Ruashi. The root of everything started with Nalan Ruashi breaking off the engagement. So Lin Feng wanted to suppress Nalan Ruashi and make her regret her decision. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 196. Nalan Ruashi bit her lips when she saw Lin Feng rushing towards her. Her current strength was no longer the same as before. Before Jun Xiaoyao had left, he had given her a lot of resources. Those resources had made Nalan Ruashi's strength rise rapidly. She was almost as strong as the geniuses of the celestial region. Lin Feng released a Cosmos gigantic hand strike. He had already collected most of the original energies of the world. Every movement of his seemed to be able to affect the force of heaven and earth. As the seal blasted out, it was as if the entire world was pressing down, and its aura was surging to the extreme. Nalan Ruashi's slender hand was holding a sword. Her sword was extremely sharp. She slashed towards the great Cosmos hand. The sound of collision burst forth. Nalan Ruashi's body shook and she was pushed back a dozen steps. Even though she had become stronger, there was still a big gap between her and Lin Feng. It seems like you haven't improved much with Jun Xiaoyao. He doesn't care about you, Lin Feng said mockingly. Shut up. My prince is very good to me. You can't slander him. Nalan Ruashi ground her teeth and continued attacking. You're the descendant of an immortal group and you don't dare show up. Are you afraid? Lin Feng said coldly. My prince is powerful. Do you think he cares about a nobody like you all the time? Nalan Ruashi said coldly. She was a kind person and wasn't good at insulting people. But Lin Feng insulted Jun Xiaoyao. Nalan Ruashi couldn't stand it. A nobody? Now I will show you who the real nobody is. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with ferocity. As the saying goes, a strong dragon can't defeat a snake in its old haunts. He was the main character of the Tianxian continent. Even if the descendant of an immortal group came, he wouldn't be as lucky as him. Lin Feng's attack changed again. He threw a punch. He controlled the original energies of heaven and earth. Each punch was extremely powerful. After the collision, Nalan Ruashi finally couldn't help but cough up blood. She was blown away. Her face was pale. Haha, Nalan Ruashi, where is your prince? Lin Feng laughed wildly. Nalan Ruashi was on the ground. She held her sword with both hands and struggled to get up. The trace of blood at the corner of her lips made her look even more beautiful. Ruashi believes that if young master returns, he can suppress you with one hand. You're courting death. Lin Feng's pride was hurt. He attacked again. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Originally, he only wanted to suppress Nalan Ruashi and then slowly torture her. But now, he decided to kill Nalan Ruashi. Miss, be careful. Some of the young cultivators of the Nalan family hurriedly rushed over and stood in front of Nalan Ruashi. Who do you think you are? Scram! Lin Feng waved his hand and the cultivators of the Nalan clan exploded, blood splashing everywhere. No. Nalan Ruashi felt as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. These were all her clansmen. On the other side, Peng Ling and Peng Fei were also paying attention to Lin Feng. Lin Lang is really amazing. Peng Ling's eyes sparkled. Lin Feng is indeed blessed by the heaven and earth. I think that in a short time, he will surpass me, said Peng Fei. After a short time, Lin Feng killed all the cultivators of the Nalan family who were in front of Nalan Ruashi. Nalan Zhan and the other strong cultivators of the Nalan family were also entangled by the ancient godly mountain cultivators. They couldn't escape. Nalan Ruashi, all this tragedy started when you broke off the engagement. Do you regret it now? If you regret it, I can spare your life, said Lin Feng icily. He wanted Nalan Ruashi to lower her head and submit to him. He wanted her to regret her decision. Nalan Ruashi glanced around. Another human saint had been besieged by the saints of the ancient godly mountain. Nalan Zhan and the others wouldn't be able to last much longer. The destruction of the human race was only a matter of time. But in such a desperate situation, Nalan Ruashi's beautiful eyes were still filled with determination. I, Nalan Ruashi, will never regret my decision to break off the engagement. Even if I had to do it again 10,000 times, I would never marry you, shouted Nalan Ruashi. Damn it! Lin Feng was instantly furious. That woman looked beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, she was so stubborn that she didn't even care about her own life. Lin Feng threw a punch at Nalan Ruashi. Nalan Ruashi knew she couldn't resist, but she still raised her sword and wanted to attack. However, at that moment, Peng Fei, who was in midair, suddenly felt a terrifying undulation sweeping over from afar. What's that? Did a saint attack? Peng Fei was astonished. In the distance, a sword light tore through the clouds and streaked across the sky. Wherever it passed, the void collapsed. That sword light was moving towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng's facial expression suddenly changed. His eyes were wide open, as if they were going to pop out of their socket. He hastily turned around to block the attack. Original strength of the world emerged and turned into a 5-colored vortex in front of him. However, even with the protection of the world origin energy, the might of the sword ray was simply unable to eliminate it. Lin Feng was pushed back 100 zhang and coughed up blood. How's that possible? Peng Ling's beautiful face paled. In her eyes, Lin Feng was the strongest cultivator of the younger generation. Surprisingly, he was pushed back. Peng Fei was also astonished as he gazed into the distance. Lin Feng, you really want to die? An indifferent voice sounded. When he heard that familiar voice, Lin Feng's facial expression changed to one of hatred. Jun Xiao Yao. In the distance, Jun Xiaoyao was flying through the air. His white robe fluttered in the wind. He looked like a celestial being. Next to him were Yu, the nine-headed lion, Su Ziqiong, ancestor Dong Xian, and the others. The son of God of the Jun clan. The son of God of the Jun clan is here. Great. We're going to save him. All the human cultivators were so excited that they started cheering. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao was like a savior, a ray of light in a hopeless situation. As long as he was there, the human race wouldn't be destroyed. Jun Xiaoyao didn't pay attention to those excited and respectful gazes. He hadn't come just to be a savior. The most important thing was to harvest the chives. Are you all right? Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Nalen Ruashi and asked. Thank you for your concern, master. I'm fine. Nalen Ruashi was so excited that her face was red. Jun Xiaoyao nodded indifferently and turned to Lin Feng. A faint smile appeared in his eyes. As expected, Lin Feng didn't let him down. The surging world source energy caused the surrounding space to faintly distort. No wonder Lin Feng was the main character of the Tianxian continent. When Lin Feng saw Jun Xiaoyao, his eyes were filled with hatred. When enemies met, their eyes turned red. Jun Xiaoyao, you're finally here. I thought you were going to be a coward, Lin Feng said coldly. The rain is over and the sky is clear. Do you think you can do it again? Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head and looked at Lin Feng as if he were an idiot. Die! Lin Feng flew into a rage out of humiliation. He attacked directly, the original strength of his world bursting out and bombarding Jun Xiaoyao. When Jun Xiaoyao saw this, he didn't even bother using the coiling Emperor Time sword. Instead, he punched out with the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant and the strength of the 70 zenith immortal bones. Immortal light surged and the void exploded. Boom! Lin Feng was sent flying, coughing up blood. His body flew in a parabola and crashed into the ground. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 197. Lin Feng was stupefied. Completely stupefied. He didn't even have time to react. When he came back to his senses, he was already in the ground. Who am I? Where am I? What happened? Lin Feng was completely confused. Not only him, but Peng Ling, Peng Fei, and the others were also stupefied. Lin Feng. Peng Ling's face was pale. In Peng Ling's mind, Lin Feng was invincible among the young generation. Even her brother Peng Fei couldn't suppress Lin Feng. And now, Lin Feng was blown away by a young man in white clothes. Is that the divine child of the Jun family? Peng Fei asked with a serious look in his eyes. Even he found it difficult to suppress Lin Feng, yet Jun Xiaoyao was able to do so easily. Didn't that mean that Peng Fei wasn't as good as Jun Xiaoyao? Lin Feng, your greatest value is to be harvested by me. Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Defeating Lin Feng wasn't a big deal for him. He didn't feel proud of himself either. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand again and grabbed Lin Feng. No! Peng Ling attacked. Her blue wings flapped and she turned into a blue light. She wanted to save Lin Feng. No wonder you're the main character of the universe. You have a woman so quickly. Jun Xiaoyao smiled indifferently. Then he slapped her. But Peng Ling's entire body was smashed into a bloody pulp by Jun Xiaoyao and she died. Little Ling. Lin Feng, who was on the ground, roared when he saw this. Even though he wanted to use Qing Tian Godly Mountain to get his revenge, Peng Ling's love and care for him had indeed moved Lin Feng. But now Jun Xiaoyao had smashed Peng Ling into a bloody pulp in front of him. First, it was his childhood sweetheart Ziyan, then Peng Ling. 2 of his women had died because of Jun Xiaoyao. Including Nalan Ruashi, who could have been a slave, there were 3. Lin Feng was going crazy. His eyes were about to pop out of their socket. Little Ling, Pring Fei and the members of Qing Tian Godly Mountain were just as furious as Lin Feng. Pring Ling was Azure Sky Divine Mountain's proud daughter of heaven. Now, she was slapped to death by Jun Xiaoyao with one slap. Jun Xiaoyao, pay for my sister's life. Pring Fei's hair stood on end in anger. His eyes were scarlet red as he angrily attacked. He lashed out with a punch. His green powers surged, conjuring a shadow of the azure sky rock as he charged at Jun Xiaoyao. When Jun Xiaoyao saw this, a hint of contempt appeared in his eyes as he said, "This son of God doesn't even care about the golden-winged Great Ping, let alone you, the azure sky Great Ping. Arrogant, golden-winged rock isn't someone you can handle," Ping Fei shouted angrily. This time, Jun Xiaoyao put away the coiling Emperor Time sword. He took out the exterminating tyrant Saint King glove and put it on his right hand. The power of the godly mark purple gold filled the air and strengthened Jun Xiaoyao's fist. He punched out and said casually, "Golden-winged rock, you're just a loser." Boom. After putting on the exterminating tyrant Saint King glove, Jun Xiaoyao became a one-punch superhuman. With this punch, Pring Fei's entire body was torn into pieces. Blood splattered everywhere, and one of his punching arms exploded into a bloody mist. What did you say? Golden-winged rock? At the last moment of his life, Pring Fei's eyes widened in disbelief. Just what kind of terrifying character did he provoke? Plop! Pring Fei's body fell from the sky. He couldn't be more dead. Jun Xiaoyao had killed the 2 most outstanding disciples of Qing Tian Godly Mountain in 2 moves. This caused the chaotic battlefield to quieten down. The members of Qing Tian Godly Mountain were even more stunned. The most outstanding disciple of Qing Tian Godly Mountain had died just like that? How? How is this possible? Lin Feng was shaking from head to toe. How strong was Jun Xiaoyao? Romance 888, was he still human? Jun Xiaoyao took advantage of the fact that the crowd hadn't reacted. He stretched out his hand and grabbed Lin Feng. Lin Feng's whole body was grabbed by the golden hand. He couldn't move. Jun Xiaoyao, you. Lin Feng's face turned red. He was about to suffocate. Before you die, I, the Son of God, will tell you something, Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. You want to kill me? Lin Feng's teeth were chattering. Lin Feng finally understood what it meant to be afraid when he was about to die. Before, he had been protected by the earth and sky. But after meeting Jun Xiaoyao, it was the beginning of a nightmare. You may be the main character of the earth and sky, but the earth and sky are in the palm of the Son of God. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao's voice fell, he stretched out his hand and grasped at the void. The giant golden hand also suddenly closed at the same time. Crack! Blood splattered everywhere, and the sound of bones breaking rang out. Lin Feng's whole body was crushed into meat paste. He couldn't be more dead. The second main character of the earth and sky died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. A large mass of Tianxian continent's world origin emerged. Jun Xiaoyao directly put it into his spatial magic tool. In addition to the small mass of world origin he had obtained from Lin Feng before, the origin of the Tianxian continent could be considered collected. Now, he already had 2 masses of world origin of the Tianxian continent and the Star continent. It wasn't until Jun Xiaoyao crushed Lin Feng to death that everyone came back to their senses. Die, young man! The saint of Qing Tian Godly Mountain roared. The power of the Saint Plane burst out and crushed toward Jun Xiaoyao. Impudent! Patriarch Dongxian also burst out with the power of the Saint Plane and blocked the attack of the Saint of Qing Tian Godly Mountain. Descendant of the clan of the ancients of the immortal region, you are too arrogant. In this situation, you alone can't reverse the situation, Patriarch Golden Spider of the demonic Godly Mountain said coldly. Hearing this, the human cultivators came to their senses. Indeed, although Jun Xiaoyao had come, he could only defeat his peers. At most, he could challenge those of a few levels higher. However, facing a pre-saint and saint, he was still unable to make ends meet. As for his servants, there were only 2 saints and 1 demi-saint. Although they were of some help to the battle, they still didn't have enough people to completely solve the problem. On the primordial godly mountain side, there were double digits of saint. The hearts of Naylan Zhan and the others sank slightly. At this time, Patriarch Golden Spider spoke again. Considering that you are the descendant of the clan of the ancients of the upper realm, if you don't interfere in the battle, the primordial godly mountain can forgive your offense. These words once again made Naylan Zhan, Dongxian sect master, and the others' expressions change. Was he threatening Jun Xiaoyao not to interfere? Young master. Naylan Ruashi's heart tightened. However, she still believed that Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't abandon them. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. Since this son of God was born, there haven't been many who dared to threaten me like this. Who do you think you are, Spider? Little beast, you're courting death. Patriarch Golden Spider's 8 compound eyes spat fire at Huang Xiaolong's words. The heavenly demon spiders were bloodthirsty and violent by nature. Patriarch Golden Spider felt that Jun Xiaoyao's identity was a little troublesome, so he was willing to take a step back. He didn't expect to be mocked by Jun Xiaoyao in such a tone. He stretched out one of his spider legs like a sharp golden spear, thrusting it at Jun Xiaoyao. Die! Patriarch Golden Spider let out a shrill cry. At this time, Patriarch Golden Spider saw the mocking expression in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. He couldn't understand how a person could still show such an expression when death was at hand. However, in the next moment, Patriarch Golden Spider understood. 6 spatial rifts appeared in the void around him. 6 fists carrying the power of the Saint Realm bombarded Patriarch Golden Spider at the same time. Chapter 198. 6 cold fists with a metallic luster blasted out of the spatial rift. Every punch carried a terrifying power that could shatter a 10,000-foot-tall mountain. Even a saint would explode from this punch. Patriarch Golden Spider let out a shrill shriek of extreme terror. Just 1 fist was enough to make his hair stand on end, not to mention 6 fists coming at him at the same time. Furthermore, they were coming from all directions. Patriarch Golden Spider had no place to retreat. It was only then that he realized what the hint of mockery in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes meant. Little bastard, you're so cunning! Patriarch Golden Spider roared as his body glowed with a golden light. Countless spider webs appeared and circled around his body, trying to weave a layer of defense. However, because he was caught off guard and the speed of the fists was too fast, he had no time to defend himself. Boom! 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 6 deafening explosions rang out almost at the same time. At the same time, Patriarch Golden Spider's blood-curdling scream rang out. That miserable scream was so tragic that it made those who heard it feel sad and shed tears. In the next second, Patriarch Golden Spider's huge spider body landed heavily on the ground. Almost all of his 8 spider legs were broken, and there were several holes in the carapace on his body. All kinds of blood and bodily fluids flowed out of the bloody holes. The great Patriarch Golden Spider of the demonic spirit's divine mountain was seriously injured and on the verge of death. He had completely lost his ability to fight. This sudden scene caused the minds of the gods of the primordial divine mountain to short-circuit. What the hell was going on? At this moment, everyone's eyes suddenly turned to the 6 spatial rift. 6 silhouettes with glittering starlight and metallic luster stepped out of the spatial rift. Each figure was tall and majestic, exuding the aura of a saint. They were the star-splitter god puppets that Jun Xiaoyao had obtained from the Astral Palace's treasury. The star-splitter god puppets were famous for their ability to split stars. With a single punch they could shatter stars. One could imagine how powerful the 6 star-splitter god puppets were when they attacked at the same time. The fact that Patriarch Golden Spider hadn't been smashed to death was somewhat unexpected to Jun Xiaoyao. But now there wasn't much difference whether Patriarch Golden Spider was dead or alive. Are these 6 puppets? 6 saint-level puppets. Oh my god! All the human cultivators were shocked by Jun Xiaoyao's display. 6 saint-level puppets in one move. It was almost unimaginable in the lower realm. In the 10 realms, it was difficult to find anyone else with such a foundation, apart from someone like Infinite Starlord. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao had Golden Spider's nest. Old Ancestor. Demonic Soul Divine Mountains creatures cried out in alarm, about to take action to provide assistance. But Patriarch Golden Spiders was Golden Spiders. The 6-star shattering divine puppets attacked again, smashing Patriarch Golden Spider into a pile of meat paste. No! The demonic soul divine mountain creature cried out in grief. The heavens, the human cultivators, the human saints were also overjoyed. Patriarch Heavens too. Together with Patriarch Dongxian and the others, they had 8 saints' strength. This could definitely decide the outcome of this war. Not to mention, these 6-star shattering divine puppets were invulnerable, and their physiques were invincible. A star-splitting divine puppet was enough to stop 2 saints of the primordial divine mountain. Kill! Jun Xiaoyao commanded the 6 god puppets to attack at the same time. Their auras surged and their fists were shocking. Jun Xiaoyao had thousands of star cores, which were more than enough to sustain the consumption of the star-splitting divine puppet. Kill! It's time for the human race to fight back. It's time to let these primordial creature bastards know the power of the human race. Long live the Son of God! With the Son of God here, the human race has nothing to worry about. Jun Xiaoyao had become the stabilizing force of the human race. It was as if as long as he was here, all difficulties could be solved. That was indeed the case. The living beings of the primordial divine mountain began to panic. The situation had almost reversed. The 6-star shattering god puppets were invulnerable as they swept through the area. None of the saints of the primordial divine mountains were willing to face them. Who would be willing to use their own lives to fight to the death with a puppet? It was precisely because of this that the saints of the primordial divine mountain retreated in defeat and began to prepare to leave. With the top forces retreating, there was no need to even mention the lower forces. They began to crumble. Countless living beings of the primordial divine mountain were killed, and blood flowed like rivers. Previously, they were butchers, and the human cultivators were fish on the chopping block. Now, the situation had reversed, and the primordial creatures had become fish on the chopping block. Jun Xiaoyao was not idle either. Every time he punched out, the void would shatter. His fist light was shocking, and a group of primordial creatures were smashed into pieces. Soon, the primordial divine mountain could not hold on any longer. Another saint died under the punches of the god puppet. They began to cry out in fear and turned to flee. Many primordial creatures looked at Jun Xiaoyao with unprecedented fear, as if they were looking at the king of hell. Jun Xiaoyao was the nightmare of the primordial divine mountain. Next, this great battle lasted for a few days and nights. The human cultivators chased them all the way and scattered the primordial divine mountain in all directions. Wherever they passed, blood flowed like rivers. However, the vast majority of them were living beings of the primordial divine mountain. They began to retreat back to the central forbidden land and shivered. The human race had won an unprecedented victory. Nalan family, primordial divine mountain. Looking over, although it was a mess, the faces of the cultivators carried joy from the bottom of their hearts. For the first time, the human cultivators of the Tianxian land stood up. The place where the primordial divine mountain was located was called the Forbidden Land. Human cultivators would die if they stepped in. Yet now, these living beings of the Forbidden Land were fleeing like rats while being chased by the human cultivators. This feeling was King awesome. And all of this was thanks to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was the savior of all human cultivators in the entire Tianxian land. In the vast hall of the Nalan family, Jun Xiaoyao sat at the head of the table. Below him, many leaders of the Tianxian land forces stood densely. There were sacred lords of sacred grounds, masters of reclusive aristocratic families, sect masters, and leaders of major sections. At this moment, they all bowed to Jun Xiaoyao with cupped fists. The human race of the Tianxian land thanks the Son of God of the Jun family for his great kindness. We will never forget this kindness. Everyone's voices were deafening. They were sincerely grateful from the bottom of their hearts. You don't have to be like this. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. In fact, he was not some savior of the world. It was purely for his own benefit. From now on, the human race of the Tianxian land will follow the lead of the Son of God. Dongxian sect master was the first to speak. That's right, that's right. From now on, the entire continent will obey the orders of the Son of God. The Son of God is the master of the Tianxian land. All the sacred lords, sect masters, and sect masters echoed in unison. There was still a trace of doubt in Nalan Zhan's eyes as he said, "May I ask the Son of God, although we won the battle this time, the immemorial divine mountains still preserved a portion of their combat power. If they wait for the Son of God to leave and come back for revenge," Nalan Zhan did not continue. The atmosphere also fell into silence for a moment. Indeed, with Jun Xiaoyao around, they could win a complete victory. But what if Jun Xiaoyao left? He was from the immortal region. He could not stay in the Tianxian land forever, right? Don't worry, everyone. This Son of God has already thought of a solution for this matter. Chapter 199. Jun Xiaoyao knew that he was not a good person. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not stingy about doing something so effortless that he could help others without much effort. Moreover, the entire Tianxian continent was in the hands of the human cultivators, which was equivalent to being in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. In the future, the Jun family could even use the Tianxian continent as their base in the lower realm. This was equivalent to taking over a piece of territory. First of all, after I leave the Tianxian continent, these 6 star-splitting divine puppets will be left behind and handed over to trusted human cultivators to control. The first thing Jun Xiaoyao said was enough to render everyone speechless. 6 Saint Realm puppets were given away just like that. This was simply unimaginable to these cultivators of the lower realm. If a star-splitting divine puppet was born, it would probably stir up a storm in the entire continent. However, Jun Xiaoyao casually agreed to give away 6 divine puppets. Lord Son of God, this is too precious. That's right. These 6 star-splitting divine puppets are your personal belongings. How can we take them? Many patriarchs and sacred masters spoke up. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and said, "Do you think that this Son of God will lack puppets?" Jun Xiaoyao's words shut their mouths. Indeed, if Jun Xiaoyao wanted puppets, not to mention the Saint Realm, the Jun family would even give him top-notch puppets of the Saint King Realm or even the Supreme Saint Realm. However, the problem was that there was no need for that. After Jun Xiaoyao returned to the Celestial Realm, he naturally had Tao Protector Audiobook and the others secretly protecting him. There was no need for him to use puppets to protect himself. Therefore, after Jun Xiaoyao returned to the Celestial Realm, the star-splitting divine puppets lost their use. Instead of throwing them into a spatial artifact to collect dust, it was better to give them to the human cultivators of the Tianxian continent. After the explanation, many cultivators revealed looks of joy. With 6 star-splitting divine puppets, the primordial divine mountain would have to think twice if they wanted to do anything. Jun Xiaoyao continued, "Apart from this, I will also contact the mysterious sky sect in the star continent. From the star continent to the profound sky continent, there's a trans-realm teleportation formation. It's quite convenient. The Black Heaven sect also listens to the Son of God's orders. When the time comes, if there's any movement from the primordial God Mountain, we can also ask the Black Heaven sect to send experts to help, Jun Xiaoyao said. As for why Jun Xiaoyao didn't directly go to the central forbidden area and destroy all the living beings of the primordial God Mountain, the reason was simple: trouble. Jun Xiaoyao did not like trouble, so he left it to the cultivators of the Tianxian continent to deal with. Jun Xiaoyao also believed that they could handle it well. If the cultivators of the Tianxian land could not deal with the immemorial Divine Mountain with such help, then they deserved to be annihilated. After hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, the martial artists of the Tianxian land were completely reassured. 6-star splitting divine puppets and the support of the Black Heaven sect. The immemorial Divine Mountain would not be able to stir up any trouble. They could only hide and seek survival. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's deterrence and influence could last for a long time. It might become a shadow and nightmare that those living beings of the immemorial Divine Mountain could not erase for the rest of their lives. At this point, the matter between the Tianxian land and the Star Continent could be considered to have come to an end. However, Jun Xiaoyao's matter was not over yet. Firstly, he still had to go to the Dayan dynasty of the Hidden Dragon Continent to pacify the rest of the sinners. Secondly, he wanted to see if he could find the remaining 10 heaven-defying children. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao initially came with the mentality of taking in underlings. However, these children of destiny did not have the life of a main character, but they had the illness of a main character. Each of them was arrogant and self-important. Jun Xiaoyao was helpless and could only teach them how to behave. However, if possible, Jun Xiaoyao still wanted to take in a few heaven-defying children. Thirdly, he wanted to find as many world origins as possible. Fourthly, Jun Xiaoyao did not forget about the second volume of the physical book. Fifthly, he wanted to find the crack of the 10 worlds, enter the altar of martyrs, and walk his own path. Sixthly, he wanted to find Jun Wanjie's sister. Jun Xiaoyao carefully sorted out his thoughts and realized that he still had so many things to do. This gave Jun Xiaoyao a headache. He also rested at the Nalan family for a few days. In these few days, Nalan Ruashi had been taking care of Jun Xiaoyao's daily life. Even when Jun Xiaoyao took a bath, Nalan Ruashi would take the initiative to serve him by massaging his shoulders and back. As for what she used to scrub his back, of course, it was something soft. Nalan Ruashi had done her best to serve Jun Xiaoyao. She served him well in all aspects, making him feel very comfortable. Jun Xiaoyao was also happy to enjoy it. He was not an ascetic cultivator with a pure heart and few desires. As for why Jun Xiaoyao had never taken the initiative to get close to any woman, it was because no woman had the right to make Jun Xiaoyao take the initiative to express his goodwill. There were too few women in the world who were worthy of him. However, these few days had been hard on Suzy Qiong. She was about to turn into a resentful housewife. Even her job of serving Jun Xiaoyao had been taken away by Nalan Ruashi. These few days were the few days that Jun Xiaoyao had been relaxed and content since he had descended to the lower realm. However, these few days were the only time he could relax. What should be done still had to be done. On this day, Jun Xiaoyao summoned old ancestor Dongxian and the rest. As they were the most familiar with the lower realm, Jun Xiaoyao had some things to ask them. We should be going to the Qian Long continent next. Can we reach there through the trans-realm transportation formation? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Old ancestor Dongxian shook his head slightly and said, Son of God, the Tianxian continent and the astral continent should not be able to reach the Qian Long continent directly. We might have to transfer to other continents along the way and then to the Qian Long continent. I see. Very well, let's make some preparations and depart tomorrow, Jun Xiaoyao said. Old ancestor Dongxian and the rest nodded. The next day, Jun Xiaoyao set off again with the 9-headed lion, Suzy Qiong, and old ancestor Dongxian. Many cultivators of the Tianxian continent greeted them respectfully. Young master, Ruashi will wait for your return. Take me to the immortal realm. Nalan Ruashi murmured reluctantly. Just as Jun Xiaoyao and the rest were about to set off again, the Qianlong continent's turmoil had begun. Various forces were rebelling, and the sinners were rising. Dozens of wars, big and small, had been fought. The entire Qianlong continent, the eastern lands, the Nanling Mountains, the western Baron, and the northern plains were all engulfed in the flames of war. The Dayan dynasty had also sent out an army to suppress the rebellion and launch a war against the sinners. In these battles, there was a prince whose performance exceeded everyone's expectations in the Dayan dynasty. Even the royal lords of Dayan were very surprised. That prince was the 16th prince, Fang Han. Almost everyone in the Dayan dynasty knew about the silly 16th prince. However, his performance in the battles became more and more shocking, and his strength grew stronger and stronger. He even surpassed all of his siblings. Even Juning was very surprised. In her heart, she was also happy for Fang Han's change. However, Fang Han's ambition did not stop there. He wanted to defeat the sinners, become a hero in the eyes of the world, and win Juning-er's favor. Didn't Juning say that she hoped that the person she loved would be a hero in a white robe? Then Fang Han would have to be that hero. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 200. While the Hidden Dragon continent was in a state of chaos. Sunluo continent, one of the 10 lands of the lower realm. Unlike other continents, this continent was filled with the law of the jungle. The strong lived and the weak died. There was no justice or reason to speak of. It was also because of this that this continent became known as the land of evil in the lower realm. It was extremely chaotic. Many powerhouses who had committed heinous crimes in other continents could only escape to the Sunluo continent. The strong could live comfortably in the Sunluo continent, but the weak were miserable. At this moment, somewhere in the Sunluo continent, in a dark and cold palace, a young figure was sitting on a white skeleton throne. Black mist lingered around him, and his face could not be seen clearly. His long gray hair fell to the ground, and a pair of strange black and white wings grew from his back. Yin and yang energy lingered around them. Although his face was blurry, the pupils that could be vaguely seen seemed to contain the blood of immortals and the horrifying scene of fiend gods falling. It was frightening. He sat calmly on the white skeleton throne, exuding an extremely oppressive aura. A black-robed man stood on both sides of the white skeleton throne, exuding the aura of a saint. Below him was a group of cultivators from the Sunluo continent. Among them, the leaders of several powerful factions were also gathered here. Among this group, a blood-robed old man stepped forward, cupped his hands slightly, and said carefully, "Lord from the immortal region, may I know why you have called us here?" This blood-robed old man came from the Yellow Spring Valley. The Yellow Spring Valley was one of the top factions in the Sunluo continent. These people were originally evil people who ate people without spitting out the bones, but they could only bow their heads in front of this lord from the immortal region. Those cultivators who had refused to submit had already become cold corpses on the ground. "I heard that you have found traces of the successor of the god-devouring demonic art?" The young man sitting on the white skeleton throne tapped his fingers on the armrest and said coldly, "Yes. We just received news not long ago that the successor of the god-devouring demonic art seems to be a prodigy of the Battle Demon Hall," the blood-robed old man said hurriedly, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. "Very good, you've finally appeared. I didn't waste my time on this continent." The young man chuckled. "Yellow Spring Valley, Azura's Gate, Heavenly Fiend Sect, I order you to annihilate the Battle Devil Hall and capture that devouring god devil art successor for me," the young man ordered. As soon as he said this, the expressions of the people from the 3 great sects changed. A middle-aged man from the Heavenly Slaughter sect couldn't help but stand out and say, "Lord from the immortal region, the Battle Demon Hall is the strongest force in the Sunluo continent. Even if our three sects attack together, we will suffer great losses. It's as if we are fighting with our lives on the line. However, just as the man from the Sky Slaughter sect finished speaking, beside the white bone throne, a black-robed man reached out his hand and smashed him into meat paste with a single palm. Is there anyone else who opposes my decision or doesn't want to obey? The young man asked slowly. No, we wouldn't dare. The people of the three great sects broke out in cold sweat. The Battle Demon Hall also had saints. If the three great sects joined forces, even if they managed to take down the Battle Devil Hall, they would still suffer heavy losses. As for the young man from the Immortal region, he didn't suffer any losses. However, the situation was stronger than them, so they had no choice but to lower their heads. A man from the Shura sect braced himself and asked, Lord from the Immortal region, there are also prodigies from the lower realm of the Immortal region paying attention to the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique in the Sunluo continent. If they try to stop us and fight for it, the man didn't continue, but his meaning was obvious. They were all from the Immortal region, so who could they offend? Hearing this, the young man on the white bone throne laughed. It was as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He said slowly, Don't worry, in the 10 lands of the lower realm, no one dares to go against me. If there really is someone who doesn't have eyes and wants to stop us, you only need to say 6 words. Fallen God Palace, fallen Son of God. As soon as he said those 6 words, a terrifying murderous demonic aura swept out. Even some of the experts below with higher cultivation than the young man felt their scalps go numb. Fallen God Palace, fallen Son of God. Staying in the lower realm, they didn't know the weight of those 6 words. But in the Immortal region, the fallen God Palace was a powerful force with a terrifying foundation. It was rumored that this faction was one of the origins of demonic cultivators in the Immortal region, with an ancient heritage. Fallen Son of God, as one of the most outstanding prodigies in the fallen God Palace, his words weren't just empty words. In the 10 lands of the lower realm, there weren't many prodigies who dared to go against the fallen Son of God. Yes, we will do it right away. The people of the 3 major sects cupped their hands and left, their bodies soaked in cold sweat. Clearly, this young man from the Immortal region had a shocking identity, far stronger than those ordinary prodigies from the lower realm. After the people of the 3 major sects left, the fallen Son of God leaned on the white bone throne and muttered to himself, Back then, the heaven-devouring evil lord's devouring god demonic technique caused a calamity in the Immortal region. In the end, the heaven-devouring evil lord was besieged and severely injured, on the verge of death. In the end, he disappeared, and the devouring god demonic technique was lost. I thought that the devouring god demonic technique was really extinct. Now that I think about it, the heaven-devouring evil lord probably didn't want his demonic technique to be lost. Therefore, in the last moments of his life, he forced himself to come to the lower realm and left behind his legacy. With my talent, if I can obtain the devouring god demonic technique, the dragon head of the Immortal region's younger generation will be held by me, the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God smiled. Everything was under his control. In this Sunluo continent, no one from the Immortal region dared to go against him, the fallen Son of God. In the next few days, the army led by the 3 major sects also rushed to the Battle Demon Palace. Along the way, there were some geniuses from the Immortal region who sensed that something was wrong. With the identity of the Immortal region, they went up and asked. In the end, when they heard the words, Fallen Son of God, from the fallen God Palace, all the geniuses from the Immortal region retreated with fear, not daring to make things difficult for them. This gave the cultivators of the 3 major sects a clear understanding of the identity of the fallen Son of God. In the Sunluo continent, no one dared to challenge the authority of the fallen Son of God. This gave the cultivators of the 3 major sects confidence. Hugging this thigh might be a kind of opportunity. Under such circumstances, The army led by the three major sects unimpeded and launched a surprise attack on the Battle Demon Palace. As the strongest force in the Sunluo continent, the Battle Demon Palace naturally had to resist even though they were ambushed. Hand over the successor of the Devouring God demonic technique, or your Battle Demon Palace will be destroyed. Lord Fallen Son of God from the Fallen God Palace of the Immortal Region has spoken. Hand over the successor of the Devouring God demonic technique, and he might spare your lives. The flames of war raged and smoke filled the air. The experts of the three major sects were shouting. You bastards want the Battle Demon Palace to submit? Impossible! The experts of the Battle Demon Palace shouted coldly. In such a chaotic situation, a young man in black armor led a blind girl and some other experts of the Battle Demon Palace toward the mountain behind the Battle Demon Palace. The blind girl wore a tight black gauze dress. She had a slender figure and a beautiful face. Her skin was extremely white and her hair was draped over her shoulders. The most special part of her body was her eyes. Because she was blind, her eyes were covered by a black ribbon. Brother, leave quickly. Don't worry about me, the blind girl said. Qingying, don't be silly. I'll take you away. One day, I'll make the three major sects and that so-called fallen son of God pay the price. The young man in black armor said in a cold voice filled with hatred. His eyes were as terrifying as black holes. This young man was the successor of the Devouring God demonic technique. Right at this moment, a dense crowd of figures appeared in the sky ahead. Three young prodigies stood at the front, their auras surging. The Yellow Springs Saint, Xue Shura, Tian Mingzi, the young man in black armor, swept his gaze across the sky with a cold expression. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 201. The Yellow Spring Saint Sun, Xue Shura, and Tian Mingzi were the top prodigies of the Yellow Spring Valley, Shura sect, and Sky Slaughter sect. Like the black-armored youth, they were the top prodigies of the younger generation in the Sunluo continent. I didn't expect the Battle Demon Hall's successor, Yan Fei, to be the successor of the Devouring God demonic art. How unexpected! The Yellow Spring Saint Sun sneered. The black-armored youth was called Yan Fei. He was the most outstanding prodigy of the Battle Demon Hall. As for the blind girl, she was his younger sister, Yan Qingying. I didn't expect that the three major sects would become the lackeys of the Immortal Region's prodigies. Yan Fei rebuked. The Yellow Spring Saint Sun and the others' expressions became unnatural. Although this was the truth, could he not address him as a lackey in such an unpleasant manner? Humph, you don't know how powerful the fallen Son of God is. In this lower realm, no one dares to offend the fallen Son of God. The Yellow Spring Saint Sun said coldly. That's right. It's your honor to be chosen by the fallen Son of God. Surrender and come with us. Tian Mingzi said. If I can live, I will kill that fallen Son of God with my own hands. Yan Fei's black eyes were cold. He suddenly turned his head and said to an elder, Elder, please take Qingying away. I will hold them off. Yan Fei, you. Sigh, all right. The elder was very decisive and retreated with Yan Qingying. No. Brother. Yan Qingying's expression changed. She wanted to stay but was forcefully taken away by the elder. Qingying, run. Don't worry about me. Yan Fei shouted and turned to attack the Yellow Spring Saint Sun and the others. Originally, his strength was about the same as the Yellow Spring Saint Sun and the others. But now, Yan Fei raised his hand and a black vortex appeared. It was as if it could devour everything. His pitch-black eyes were also emitting an aura that could devour everything. It's the Devouring God demonic art. The Yellow Spring Saint Sun and the others were excited. If they could capture Yan Fei and suppress him, they would be great contributors. At that time, the fallen Son of God would definitely reward them. He might even bring them to the Immortal Region. Kill! The Yellow Spring Saint Sun and the other two also made their move. There were also some cultivators from the Battle Devil Hall who chose to stay behind to block the experts from the three great sections. Yan Qingying had already left the back mountain. Suddenly, an earth-shattering explosion was heard. At the same time, the Yellow Spring Saint's son and the others screamed in fear. Yan Fei, you've really gone mad. You actually self-destructed. You don't even want your life anymore. Following this scream, Yan Fei self-detonated and perished together with the Yellow Spring Saint's son and the others. Big brother! Yan Qingying screamed. Her heart was filled with grief. Qingying, let's leave quickly. That elder's eyes also revealed a sorrowful expression. The battle lasted for a few days. In the end, the War Demon Palace was still outnumbered. With the exception of a small number who managed to escape, most of the cultivators from the War Demon Palace had fallen. Of course, the three great sects and other factions had suffered great losses too. Even top geniuses like the Yellow Spring Saint's son had fallen. However, what terrified the three sects was that the person the fallen Son of God wanted, the successor of the God-swallowing demonic art, Yan Fei, had already died from self-detonation. This made the three great sects uneasy. However, they could only bite the bullet and report back. In the palace, the fallen Son of God, who was sitting on the white bone throne, did not say a word after hearing the news. Below him, the cultivators of the three great sects were drenched in cold sweat. Their legs were trembling. Master, please spare our lives. Yan Fei wanted to self-detonate. We couldn't do anything about it. The cultivators of the three great sects knelt down in unison. However, to their surprise, the fallen Son of God did not seem to be enraged. No, something's not right. The fallen Son of God muttered to himself. Rumor has it that there is a legend of the 10 heaven-defying sons in the lower realm. The fortune of the lower realm would gather on one person. Logically speaking, the successor of the God-swallowing demonic art, Yan Fei, should be the heaven-defying son of the Yama continent. How could he die so easily? Shouldn't he find a way to survive and take revenge on me? The fallen Son of God pondered. The fallen God Palace was also an immortal faction with a strong foundation. They knew a lot of secrets. As the young Nine Heavens Supreme of the fallen Son of God Palace, it went without saying that he knew a lot of information. He had also heard about the 10 heaven-defying sons. However, didn't the heaven-defying son of the Yama continent die too easily? The fallen Son of God said after a slight ponder. You're saying that some of the remaining members of the Battle Demon Hall have escaped? Yes, that's right. Some of them have escaped, including Yan Fei's sister, Yan Qingying, the cultivators of the three great sects replied. The sister of the successor of the God-swallowing demonic art? The fallen Son of God raised his brows. After that, he said, I'll give you 7 days to find all the remaining members of the Battle Demon Hall. Especially Yan Fei's younger sister. You must leave her alive. Yes. The cultivators of the three great sects replied and left. Did I guess wrong from the beginning? But Yan Fei did use the God-swallowing demonic art, it's fine. Everything will be clear as long as we capture everyone related to him. The fallen Son of God chuckled coldly. He had to get his hands on the God-swallowing demonic art. While the entire Yama continent was in chaos in a desolate mountain, there was an ancient transportation formation covered in a thick layer of dust. The transportation formation that had not been activated for a long time suddenly emitted a blinding light. Then, the space twisted as a group of figures appeared. It was Jun Xiaoyao and his group. Jun Xiaoyao stepped out of the golden carriage and looked around. He asked, Which world is this? Son of God, this should be the Yama continent. We need to pass through this world to reach the hidden dragon continent, progenitor Dongxian replied. I see. Then we'll go straight to the hidden dragon continent. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. At this moment, the middle-aged man in pitch-black armor, who looked like a demon god, had a hesitant look on his face. He looked as if he wanted to say something but stopped himself. What's the matter? Jun Xiaoyao noticed the man's expression and asked. Progenitor Dongxian smiled and said, Young master, you don't know. The Yama continent is Brother Gu Yuan's hometown. I see. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Only then did he understand why Gu Yuan had such an expression. Gu Yuan cupped his hands and said, Young master, to be honest, I was once the 7th Hall Master of the Battle Demon Hall in the Yama continent. Now that I've come to my hometown, I can't help but feel nostalgic. Of course, young master's matter is more important. We can go straight to the Hidden Dragon continent, Gu Yuan replied. He did not dare to delay Jun Xiaoyao's journey because of his personal matters. It's fine. You've been following this son of God for so long. It's been hard on you. Now that we're in your hometown, let's go to the Battle Demon Hall and take a look, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Thank you, young master. Gu Yuan cupped his hands with gratitude. Then, they set off and found a random cultivator to ask about the location of the Battle Demon Hall. However, Gu Yuan's expression changed abruptly when he heard the news. What did you say? The Battle Demon Hall has been destroyed? Recommended reading. Load File 2013. Chapter 202. Gu Yuan was completely stunned, as if there was thunder rumbling in his head. He was the 7th Lord of the Battle Demon Palace. Although he had ascended to the immortal realm in the end, he still missed the Battle Demon Palace. However, when he ascended to the immortal realm, the Battle Demon Palace had always been the strongest force in the Sunluo continent. How did it fall to such a state now? What's going on? Gu Yuan asked. The pressure of the Saint Realm he emitted made the cultivator tremble. He was just a little cultivator who was passing by. In the blink of an eye, he saw such a terrifying group of people. Not only were there 9-headed lions pulling the carriage, there were even saints among them. The little cultivator was on the verge of fainting. Where did this group of ferocious people come from? What's going on? Tell me. Jun Xiaoyao also frowned. This matter had nothing to do with him. However, Gu Yuan had followed him to the lower realm for so long and had always done his best to fulfill his duty. It was unreasonable for Jun Xiaoyao to ignore it. When the little cultivator saw Jun Xiaoyao, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was too extraordinary. Even the aura of the saints next to him was overshadowed by this young man in white. Could he be a genius from the lower realm of the immortal realm? The little cultivator was secretly shocked. However, he still hurriedly told him everything that had happened in the Sunluo continent recently. After hearing all the news, Gu Yuan's face was extremely gloomy. His entire person was like a volcano that was about to erupt, and his aura was unstable. After hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Fallen son of God from the Fallen God Palace. Jun Xiaoyao thought for a moment. The Fallen God Palace was also a famous immortal realm force in the Huangtian immortal realm. It was rumored that this sect was one of the origins of the demonic path in the immortal realm, and had a deep and long history. However, in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes it was just SOSO. As for the fallen Son of God, he was also very famous among the younger generation. He had once fought against 3 successors of the 3 immortal realm forces at the same time and escaped unscathed in the end. That was the battle that made him famous. However, to Jun Xiaoyao, the fallen Son of God's strength could only be considered passable. If it were him, the successors of the 3 undying factions would have to consider how to survive. However, Jun Xiaoyao had never seen the fallen Son of God before, so he wasn't sure if he had any hidden tricks up his sleeve. Of course, the fallen Son of God was not the main reason. Jun Xiaoyao did not care about him. What Jun Xiaoyao cared about was the god-devouring demonic art and the heaven-defying child of the Sunluo continent. Jun Xiaoyao had only heard of the god-devouring demonic technique. It was rumored that it was the technique of the heaven-devouring evil lord of the immortal domain. That was a ruthless demonic cultivator with a high cultivation base. He had even used the god-devouring demonic technique to kill several supreme beings of the same realm. One must know that it wasn't that easy for an utmost exalted expert to fall. From this, one could see how domineering the god-devouring demonic art was. Jun Xiaoyao was also a little interested in the god-devouring demonic technique. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao was also interested in the heaven-defying child of the Sunluo continent. Logically speaking, that heaven-defying child should be Yan Fei of the Battle Demon Palace. However, he died. Jun Xiaoyao was also thinking about this problem. Generally speaking, a heaven-defying child who had the fortune of an entire world on his body would definitely not die so easily. As for Lin Feng, Mo Fan, and the Limitless Star Lord, they could only say that they were very sorry that they had met Jun Xiaoyao. That was fate. Jun Xiaoyao believed that it would not be that easy for others to deal with a heaven-defying child. In that case, could it be that someone else has obtained the inheritance of the god-devouring demonic technique? Jun Xiaoyao thought of this point. And the person who had the highest possibility of obtaining the inheritance of the god-devouring demonic technique should be someone close to Yan Fei. Is the Battle Demon Palace completely annihilated? Jun Xiaoyao asked. The young cultivator shook his head and said, "There are still a small number of cultivators from the Battle Demon Palace who escaped, but it's useless. The 3 sects are chasing after them. It won't be long before they are all annihilated." The cultivator's words made Gu Yuan clench his fists tightly. There was a hint of struggle in his eyes. He wanted to help the Battle Demon Palace, but he was afraid of delaying Jun Xiaoyao's matter. After that, Jun Xiaoyao and the others left. The young cultivator finally heaved a sigh of relief as he watched Jun Xiaoyao and the others leave. Oh my, these geniuses of the immortal region give off too much pressure. But why do I feel like I've seen that middle-aged man before? The cultivator was suspicious. He thought about it carefully. Suddenly, he remembered that a few years ago, he had wanted to join the Battle Demon Palace. Although he did not succeed in the end, he had seen the statues of the past palace masters in the Battle Demon Palace. There seemed to be one of them who was extremely similar to that middle-aged man. The cultivator's eyes suddenly widened as he recalled. F***ck, it can't be. Could that middle-aged man be the palace master of the Battle Demon Palace a long time ago? The cultivator was completely dumbfounded. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao and the others quickly arrived at the Battle Demon Palace's encampment according to the cultivator's directions. Looking around, the entire Battle Demon Palace had been reduced to ruins. There were broken limbs everywhere, and corpses were strewn all over the place. When Gu Yuan saw this, he was so angry that his entire body trembled. His eyes were overflowing with anger. This was the force that he had once led, but now it had been reduced to ruins. Beside him, old ancestor Dongxian sighed as well. If Jun Xiaoyao had not gone to the Tianxian continent, the Dongxian Dao sect would have been completely destroyed. The rise and fall of a force was simply too insignificant. Only the immortal forces of the immortal region could last forever and exist with the world. Gu Yuan took a deep breath. Suddenly, he knelt down on one knee before Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Young master, I have a presumptuous request. I know that young master has matters to attend to, so I dare not drag you down. However, I hope that young master will allow me to stay in the Shenluo continent for a period of time. Once I'm done with my matters, I will immediately look for young master." This man with a demon-like aura was now willing to kneel on the ground and beg Jun Xiaoyao to give him some time. It was obvious that Gu Yuan still had feelings for the Battle Demon Palace. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and sighed. Why bother? Do I, the son of God, look like such an unreasonable person? Young master. Gu Yuan looked emotional. Jun Xiaoyao admitted that he was simply a devil to his enemies. However, he was still very good to his own people. You don't have to say any more. I, the son of God, can't just stand by and watch, Jun Xiaoyao said. However, he didn't say the second half of his sentence. How could Jun Xiaoyao miss out on such a thing that could possibly benefit him? He would be a bastard if he didn't take advantage of it. Thank you, young master. Gu Yuan revealed a joyful expression and sincerely cupped his hands to Jun Xiaoyao. If he had followed Jun Xiaoyao only because of the Jun family's orders before, but now, he had truly offered his loyalty to Jun Xiaoyao. I'm also very interested in the god-devouring demonic technique. I only hope that the fallen son of God won't be tactful and snatch my prey. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. If someone familiar with Jun Xiaoyao saw this smile, they would understand. It meant that Jun Xiaoyao was about to start harvesting again. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 203. After the destruction of the Battle Demon Hall, the chaos in the entire Sunluo continent did not dissipate. This was because a small number of cultivators from the Battle Demon Hall had escaped. The experts of the three major sects were also chasing after them from behind. All the cultivators in the Sunluo continent knew. If nothing went wrong, the Battle Demon Hall would definitely be destroyed. The small group of cultivators could not escape the encirclement of the three sections. And the truth was indeed as everyone had expected. The small group of cultivators from the Battle Demon Hall were surrounded and forced to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea was the most dangerous place in the Sunluo continent. It was impossible to fly above the Dead Sea. If one fell into the Dead Sea, no matter how powerful one's cultivation was, they would completely sink and never float up again. Therefore, the Dead Sea could be said to be a land of death in the Sunluo continent. The cultivators of the three sects were very smart. They purposely blocked all the escape routes so that the Battle Demon Hall cultivators could only escape toward the Dead Sea. In the end, they were stuck in a dead end. The Dead Sea was a sea as black as ink. The seawater was as deep and dense as ink. Not far away, a group of cultivators covered in injuries had escaped to this place. They looked at the pitch-black ocean in front of them with despair in their eyes. It's over. It's really over. Those bastards of the three sects are really cunning. They forced us to the Dead Sea. Is our Battle Demon Hall really going to be destroyed like this? The cultivators of the Battle Demon Hall all had sorrowful expressions. As the strongest force in the Sunluo continent, they were awe-inspiring and respected wherever they went. But now they were like a bunch of stray dogs that had been forced into a dead end. Among the cultivators, there was a slender blind girl in a black gauze dress. Her eyes were covered by a black ribbon. She was Yan Fei's sister, Yan Qingying. Logically speaking, Yan Qingying should be extremely sad when her brother died. But she was not. There was not a trace of weakness or sadness on her snow-white face. There was only extreme coldness and hatred. Waves after waves of deep and cold murderous intent were emitted from Yan Qingying's body, causing the few elders by the side to be a little surprised. Yan Qingying knew that crying and sorrow were useless. She only had one thought in her mind, and that was to destroy the three major sects and kill the fallen Son of God. Sigh, Qingying, my condolences. The few elders shook their heads helplessly. As long as there is a chance, as long as Qingying has a chance to live, I will kill the fallen Son of God. Yan Qingying exuded an extreme killing intent. The dark killing intent even gave the few empty God Realm elders goosebumps. Yan Qingying's dark aura was even denser than Yan Fei's. However, when it came to revenge, the elders shook their heads bitterly. Now that they were on the verge of death, how could they still have the chance to take revenge? At this moment, the sound of wind breaking could be heard in the distance. The densely packed figures were like a swarm of locusts. It was the Allied army led by the three great sections. Apart from the Alliance army, there were also some spectators from other forces. There were also some geniuses from the Immortal region who were watching the show. Sigh, it seems like the fallen Son of God is determined to get the devouring God demonic skill. One of the geniuses from the Immortal region shook his head and said, "Who doesn't want it? It's a pity that the fallen Son of God has given the order. If we dare to take advantage of the situation, we might even lose our lives." Another genius from the immortal region said helplessly. That's right. The fallen Son of God is not a kind person. Anyone who dares to offend him will be killed. With the support of the fallen God Palace, the fallen Son of God has nothing to fear. The geniuses from the immortal region had originally wanted to find the successor of the devouring god demonic skill and get a share of the loot. However, the fallen Son of God had given the order that anyone who dared to interfere with him would have to bear the consequences. The fallen Son of God was very famous in the immortal region, and the geniuses from the immortal region did not dare to offend him. This fallen Son of God is too arrogant and domineering. I really hope someone can teach him a lesson. You think too much. In the lower realm, how many people are qualified to teach the fallen Son of God a lesson? While the geniuses from the immortal region were just spectators, the atmosphere of the entire Dead Sea became heavy and solemn. Looking at the crowd that covered the sky and earth, the cultivators from the Battle Demon Palace all clenched their fists. A tall figure with the aura of the Sage Realm stepped out. The battle armor on his body was slightly broken and stained with blood. His face looked dignified and dignified. It was the current palace master of the Battle Demon Palace, a mid-stage sage expert. He glanced at the people from the three major sects and said in a cold voice, "Do you three sects really want to go to such extremes?" An old man from the Yellow Spring Valley walked out. His name was Yellow Spring Elder, and he was the Valley Master of the Yellow Spring Valley. "We three sects have no choice but to listen to the orders of the fallen Son of God." Listen to the orders of the fallen Son of God? Don't you have the slightest intention of destroying my Battle Demon Palace? The Battle Demon Palace Master sneered. His words made the eyes of Old Man Yellow Spring and the others flicker. It was impossible to say that they had no intention of doing so. The Battle Demon Palace had been the overlord of the Sunluo continent for a long time. The three major sects, including the Yellow Spring Valley, were naturally unhappy and wanted to overthrow the Battle Demon Palace. However, because of the Battle Demon Palace's strength, they had not made up their minds. Now, the fallen Son of God was forcing them to deal with the Battle Demon Palace. In a way, it could be said that he had helped them make up their mind. Once the Battle Demon Palace was eradicated, the three major sects would naturally become the new overlords of the Sunluo continent. If the fallen Son of God was satisfied, he might even reward them. A casual reward from the immortal region's geniuses would be enough to make the three major sects stronger. This was what the three major sects were thinking now. Enough chit-chat. Surrender and hand over Yen Fei's sister. Old Man Yellow Spring did not want to say more. The outcome was already decided. Why waste time talking? The people of the Battle Demon Palace would rather die than surrender. We will fight to the end. The Battle Demon Palace Master shouted coldly and attacked directly. Instead of waiting for death, it was better to resist. Killing one was not a loss. Killing two was a gain. Next, the battle erupted again. However, this was destined to be a battle without any suspense. The cultivators of the Battle Demon Palace were outnumbered and self-destructed one after another. Looking at this scene, the spectators from the other forces sighed. The Battle Demon Palace, which was ranked first in the Sunluo continent, ended up like this. On the other hand, the immortal region's geniuses were calm. In their eyes, the conquest of the lower realms forces was like two groups of ants fighting against each other. You must be Yen Fei's sister. Surrender obediently. A cultivator from the three major sects noticed Yen Qingying. Yen Qingying's slender body exuded a dark and cold aura. At this moment, a surge of Sage Realm power suddenly erupted in the distance. A terrifying saber light that was 1,000 feet long slashed down from the sky. The saber cut through the sky. Are you still looking for sign into sacred body of the ancients for free? Baidu directly searched. Easy, very simple. =. Chapter 204. The power of the 1,000-foot-long saber light was so terrifying that it even split the sky in half. At the same time, A cold shout came along with the saber light. It sounded like a demon god's voice. "Bastards from the three sects, you shall die today." As the voice fell, the 1,000-foot-long saber light slashed down from the sky. This saber strike killed nearly 1/3 of the cultivators from the three sects. Blood splattered, and severed limbs flew everywhere. Wails and screams filled the air. This sudden saber strike stunned everyone, and they stood rooted to the ground like wooden blocks. Old Man Yellow Spring and the others felt their scalps go numb, and their hair stood on end. Although he was also a saint, he was only at the early stage. That saber light gave Old Man Yellow Spring the illusion that he was facing death. "Who is it?" At this moment, everyone's gazes were focused on him. A middle-aged man in pitch-black armor, with a temperament as cold as a demon god's, stepped through the air. He held a blood-red saber in his hand, and his eyes were as sharp as an eagle's as they swept across Old Man Yellow Spring and the others. "A saint!" Many cultivators cried out in surprise. Even in the immortal realm, saints were not everywhere, let alone in the lower realm. Who was this saint that suddenly appeared? Why did he help the Battle Demon Palace? Just as everyone was puzzled, the remaining cultivators of the Battle Demon Palace widened their eyes in shock. Why did this man look so much like the palace master that the Battle Demon Palace worshipped? All the palace masters of the Battle Demon Palace had statues erected in the Battle Demon Palace. That was why they recognized him so quickly. The Battle Demon Palace master's eyes trembled, and he said in disbelief, "Are you the seventh palace master?" As soon as he said that, the surroundings quieted down. The seventh palace master of the Battle Demon Palace was a famous ruthless person in the Sunluo continent. His era was also the most glorious era of the Battle Demon Palace. However, later on, the seventh palace master disappeared without a trace. Some said that he had already ascended to the immortal realm. And now, this man who suddenly appeared was actually the seventh palace master? How is this possible? Old Man Yellow Spring and the others were stunned, and great waves of shock rose in their hearts. In Gu Yuan's era, they were just a bunch of small fries. I didn't expect the three small sects back then to be able to do such a thing. Gu Yuan's eyes were extremely cold. Hearing this, Yellow Spring Elder's heart sank completely. Without a doubt, this saint who had suddenly appeared was the seventh palace master of the Battle Demon Palace. However, the people from the three great sects could not understand why the seventh palace master would appear at such a coincidental moment. Hiss! It's actually that ruthless person. He came down from the immortal realm? Some of the surrounding cultivators who were watching the show also took a deep breath. The name of the seventh palace master, Gu Yuan, was well known in the Sunluo continent. Those geniuses of the immortal domain had never heard of Gu Yuan. There was a hint of pity in their eyes. What's the use of this seventh palace master coming here? Could it be that he dares to stop us? That's right. Even if he's a saint, offending the fallen Son of God will not end well for him. These geniuses of the immortal region didn't think highly of Gu Yuan. Strength and realm were only a part of it. Identity and background were equally important. Although Gu Yuan was a saint, he was still a saint from the immortal realm. Would he dare to offend the fallen Son of God? When the Battle Demon Palace master and the others thought of this, the joy and excitement on their faces lessened greatly. Yellow Spring Elder also thought of this at the same time. The panic and surprise on their faces dissipated. Instead, it was replaced by a calm and indifferent expression. Yellow Spring Elder said unhurriedly, "Seventh Palace Master, this old man did not expect you to appear. However, do you know who ordered us to destroy the Battle Demon Palace?" A cold glint flashed in Gu Yuan's eyes as he said, "I don't care who ordered you. Today, let alone the three great sects, even the people behind you will die. How dare you be disrespectful to the fallen Son of God?" Yellow Spring Elder shouted sternly. At this moment, a gentle and indifferent voice rang out. Who does the fallen Son of God think he is? As the voice rang out, a lion's roar shook the distant sky. A 9-headed lion pulled a carriage over. Old ancestor Dong Xian, EU, and the others followed closely behind. Another saint expert? The surrounding Sunluo continent cultivators were shocked again. However, the gazes of the immortal region's geniuses fell on the 9-headed lion pulling the carriage. A 9-headed lion pulling a carriage. Could it be that? Some of the immortal region's geniuses looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. If the fallen Son of God made them wary and fearful, then they could only look at that person. They could only look up to him. They were not from the same world at all. Who are you? Yellow Spring Elder raised his eyebrows. The saint aura that old ancestor Dong Xian exuded made Yellow Spring Elder's heart tremble again. This saint actually looked like a follower. When Gu Yuan saw Jun Xiaoyao arrive, he also cupped his fists and said, "Young master is here." What? Seeing Gu Yuan's action, the Sunluo continent's cultivators were tongue-tied. The famous 7th Palace Master Gu Yuan, who had left behind a legend in the Sunluo continent, had become someone else's follower? The Battle Demon Palace's cultivators were also completely stunned. This was completely different from the high and mighty 7th Palace Master that they had imagined. Yan Qingying, on the other hand, raised her snow-white pretty face. Although she was blind, she still looked at Jun Xiaoyao. What kind of person was he to be called young master by an expert like the 7th Palace Master? Could he be compared to the fallen Son of God? Seeing this, the surrounding immortal region's geniuses shuddered. How could they not know who was sitting in the carriage? One by one, the immortal region's geniuses stepped forward and cupped their fists. "Greetings, Son of God." This scene really shocked the Sunluo continent's cultivators. They had never seen these arrogant immortal region's geniuses show such reverence and admiration. This time, even Yellow Spring Elder's heart skipped a beat. Even a fool could tell that the person in the carriage was not only a immortal region's genius, but also seemed to have an extremely noble status. Because previously, when these immortal region's geniuses heard the name of the fallen Son of God, they only showed some fear. But now they took the initiative to step forward and bow. There was a huge difference between the two. Is there a need to go through so much trouble? Just kill them directly. Using the fallen Son of God as a shield is ridiculous. In the carriage, Jun Xiaoyao's voice was cold and disdainful. Yes. With Jun Xiaoyao's support, Gu Yuan was completely relieved. He slashed at Old Man Yellow Spring with his saber. No. You can't do this. Lord Fallen Son of God will not let you go. Yellow Spring Elder resisted with all his might and screamed in horror. However, his words caused the immortal region's geniuses to mock and ridicule him. What a fool! What is the fallen Son of God in front of the Jun family's Son of God? That's right. In terms of status, has the Jun family's Son of God ever been afraid of anyone? This group of immortal region's geniuses looked at the allied forces of the 3 major sects with ridicule and pity. The 3 major sects were completely finished, and the fallen Son of God had kicked an iron plate. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 205. With Gu Yuan's strength, it was very easy to deal with Elder Yellow Spring, who was in the early stage of the Saint Realm. However, after a few moves, Elder Yellow Spring was killed by Gu Yuan. Elder Yellow Spring did not see Jun Xiaoyao's true body until he died. He died with his eyes wide open. Old ancestor Dong Xian and the others also helped. With their strength, the saints of the 3 sects were no match for them. They were killed one by one. After the leading saint was killed, the cultivators of the other 3 sects were scared out of their wits. They completely lost their will to fight and fled in panic. However, Gu Yuan did not give them a chance to escape. Logically speaking, saints disdained to kill cultivators below the saint realm because it was lowering their status. However, Gu Yuan was different. Seeing the battle demon hall destroyed, he was filled with anger. As he waved his saber, the cultivators of the three sects fell like wheat being harvested. It was no joke for a saint to be angry. Soon, the battle was over. By the Dead Sea, the ground was soaked in blood, as if it had turned into a crimson land. Countless corpses were piled up like mountains. Although many cultivators of the three sects had died, the expressions on their faces were still frozen in fear and despair. This time, the allied forces of the three sects were completely annihilated. In the future, there would be no more Yellow Spring Valley, Shura sect, and Sky Slaughter sect on the Sun Luo continent. After everything was settled, the Battle Demon Hall Master and the others immediately stepped forward and cupped their fists at Gu Yuan. "Thank you, 7th Hall Master, for your help." All the surviving cultivators of the Battle Demon Hall were very excited. Their eyes were shining. They had thought that they would definitely die today. However, there was a 360-degree change in the end. "Don't thank me. If you want to thank someone, thank the young master. With the young master here, I can help you without fear of the fallen Son of God," said Gu Yuan. He knew very well that if Jun Xiaoyao did not support him, even if he helped today, he would still suffer the fallen Son of God's revenge in the future. "Thank you for your kindness, young master. The Battle Demon Hall will never forget your kindness." The Battle Demon Hall Master led the cultivators and bowed to the golden carriage. Finally, the curtain was lifted by Su Ziqiang. Jun Xiaoyao walked out calmly. He was shrouded in immortal light. His appearance and temperament needed no words to describe it. "I knew it." Some of the surrounding geniuses felt their hearts tremble violently. That ruthless man from the Jun family had really descended to the lower realm. There was no need to elaborate on the miracles that Jun Xiaoyao had created in the immortal realm. All the geniuses present knew about it, which was why they were so respectful to Jun Xiaoyao. The Battle Demon Hall Master and the others also became even more respectful. Jun Xiaoyao immortals the immortal domain immortals. Immortal immortals. S immortal immortals immortal. S immortal immortals immortal. Immortal immortals immortal immortals immortals demon immortal. There was an even more important reason, which was naturally for his own benefit. Hence, he asked directly, "Young master, the immortal is indeed the immortal domains immortal. However, he has already died," the Battle Demon Hall Master replied. "Does he have any relatives?" Jun Xiaoyao asked again. He didn't think that a heaven-defying immortal would die so easily. "He has a sister, Yan Qingying. She is here." The Battle Demon Hall Master gestured for Yan Qingying to come out. Yan Qingying was wearing a long black dress. It made her slender figure look even more graceful. Although she was blind, she could still tell the direction of the voice. She bowed in Jun Xiaoyao's direction. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yan Qingying with a deep gaze. As expected, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. He continued, "This is not the place to chat. Let's go somewhere else." Everyone present nodded. Only the Battle Demon Palace Master hesitated. "Young master, if that fallen Son of God comes..." The people of the Battle Demon Hall were still somewhat fearful of the fallen Son of God. After all, he was a peak young paragon of the immortal domain. Just release the news that this Son of God wants to pick his peaches midway. If he dares to come, this Son of God doesn't mind making the palace of the fallen God one less successor. Jun Xiaoyao flung his sleeves and spoke in an indifferent tone as he returned to his carriage. Hearing this, the surrounding geniuses of the immortal realms all gasped. There weren't many people in the entire immortal realm who dared to look down on the fallen Son of God. They had once again witnessed Jun Xiaoyao's domineering aura. After Jun Xiaoyao left with a group of people, the news of this place seemed to have grown wings as it spread across half of the Sunluo continent in just a few days. Previously, the news of the three major sects besieging the Battle Demon Hall had already spread like wildfire. In the end, in just a few days, news of the three major sects' alliance being annihilated spread. This turn of events was too dramatic, and people couldn't help but pay attention to it. What shocked the cultivators of the Sunluo continent wasn't the seventh hall master of the Battle Demon Hall, Gu Yuan. Instead, it was the mysterious genius of the immortal domain who didn't take the fallen Son of God seriously. Later, the geniuses of the immortal domain spread the news. The identity of that mysterious genius was the Son of God of the Jun family in the immortal domain. His status was extraordinary, and his strength was superior to his peers. Some geniuses of the immortal domain even described Jun Xiaoyao as a young great emperor. This caused the entire Sunluo continent to be in an uproar. For the lower realm, saints were almost the ultimate existences. To them, great emperors were like gods in myths and legends. And now, those geniuses of the immortal domain actually said that the Son of God of the Jun family was a young godlike existence. How could this not be shocking? The focus of the geniuses of the immortal domain was on the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God was also an arrogant and cold person. They were very curious about how the fallen Son of God would react to Jun Xiaoyao's contempt. When the time came, would there be a clash between the two of them? Just as the entire Sunluo continent was in an uproar. In a palace, the fallen Son of God, who was sitting on a white bone throne, slammed the armrest hard. Damn it, the Son of God of the Jun family appeared out of nowhere. The fallen Son of God's body was filled with black mist, and his aura burst out with a cold intent. If other geniuses had interfered, the fallen Son of God wouldn't have cared at all. He could have just slapped them to death. However, the person who interfered was the Son of God of the Jun family. He was the fallen Son of God. In terms of status and strength, few people in the immortal domain could compare to him. Yet, Jun Xiaoyao was able to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Not to mention being on par with him, Jun Xiaoyao's status was even higher than his. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was the core descendant of the Jun family of the ancients, the Jiang family of the ancients, and the Holy Spirit College. The fallen Son of God only had the palace of the fallen gods behind him. Young master, why don't we make a move secretly? The black-robed man with the aura of the saint stage said. The fallen Son of God shook his head and said coldly, "It's useless. Jun Xiaoyao also has a protector. Taking a step back, if you assassinate him and the Jun family finds out, the fallen Son of God didn't dare to think about the consequences. If he died because of a fight between peers, the Jun family might not find any reason to act. However, if a saint assassinated Jun Xiaoyao, the Hades heaven was a lesson to be learned. The palace of the fallen gods was much more powerful than the Hades heaven. However, it was impossible for them to face the oppression of two great clans of the ancients and a supreme academy at the same time. Although Jun Xiaoyao is strong, I, the fallen Son of God, am not weak either. Let me see how strong this legendary Son of God of the Jun family really is." The fallen Son of God stood up, and the black and white wings on his back flapped. Chapter 206. No matter what, the fallen Son of God had to fight. If he didn't, his Tao heart would be covered in dust and cracks would appear. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao had spoken with such a disdainful attitude. If he didn't fight, wouldn't he be ridiculed by the other immortal realm's geniuses? As such, the outcome of the battle was already set in stone from the moment Jun Xiaoyao decided to intervene. In less than a day, the news that the fallen Son of God was going to fight Jun Xiaoyao spread. The news spread wildly everywhere. Many immortal realms' geniuses were shocked. The Jun family's Son of God, the fallen Son of God. Both of them were famous for their battle prowess. In terms of status, they were both successors of immortal realms. In terms of strength, they were at the top of their generation. If the two of them fought, it would be a battle between the strong. It would be very interesting. Even the cultivators of the Sunluo continent were very interested. They were listening to the wind and grass. When there was news, they would all gather. A battle between geniuses of the immortal realms was very rare. Not to mention a battle between the young supremes of the immortal realms. Jun Xiaoyao also knew that the fallen son of God was going to fight. However, he didn't care. At this moment, the people of the Battle Demon Palace were temporarily staying in a mountain range. Jun Xiaoyao directly asked the Battle Demon Palace master to call Yan Qingying over. Yan Qingying was wearing a black dress. Her delicate body was slender, and her face was very beautiful. Her eyes were covered by a black ribbon. Not only did it not reduce her beauty, but it added a mysterious aura to her. Gu Yuan and the others were a little confused. They didn't understand why Jun Xiaoyao called Yan Qingying over. Jun Xiaoyao sized Yan Qingying up and said straightforwardly, "Should I call you Yan Qingying or the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique?" That sentence made everyone's expression change. The Battle Demon Palace master couldn't help but say, "Young master, are you mistaken? The successor of the god-devouring demonic technique is her brother, Yan Fei." Everyone from the Battle Demon Hall was confused. Jun Xiaoyao did not explain and only looked at Yan Qingying. Yan Qingying took a deep breath and said, "Yes, I'm the inheritor of the god-devouring devil technique." The Battle Demon Hall master and the others were stunned. He didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao's words to be true. However, even they did not notice Yan Qingying's abnormality. How did Jun Xiaoyao know? Of course, they didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao's soul perception was far beyond that of ordinary people. From the moment he saw Yan Qingying, he already understood. Yan Qingying also directly exposed the matter. The inheritance of the god-devouring demonic technique was indeed an opportunity that belonged to Yan Qingying. She was actually the heaven-defying child of the Sunluo continent, or rather, the heaven-defying daughter. As for why Yan Fei was able to manifest a portion of the god-devouring demonic art's power, that was because Yan Qingying had originally planned to give the opportunity of obtaining the god-devouring demonic technique to her brother. But in the end, this opportunity still chose Yan Qingying. However, Yan Fei had also learned a small portion of the god-devouring demonic technique. Yan Fei also seemed to have expected that there might be people who would covet the god-devouring demonic technique in the future. In order to not let Yan Qingying be in danger, Yan Fei warned her not to expose the god-devouring demonic technique. She couldn't even tell the others in the Battle Demon Hall. In order to divert attention and ensure Yan Qingying's safety, Yan Fei decided to simply make herself the inheritor of the god-devouring demonic technique. In this way, no one would pay attention to Yan Qingying. This plan was indeed successful. Yan Fei became the inheritor of the god-devouring demonic technique in the eyes of the world. It could be said that without Yan Fei's sacrifice, it wouldn't have been easy for Yan Qingying to live until now. When talking about these things, Yan Qingying clenched her jade-like hands tightly as her delicate body trembled uncontrollably. Her brother had died in order to protect her. After the truth was revealed, the Battle Demon Hall master and the others also had complicated expressions. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. There was never a lack of such touching things in the world. He wasn't moved. "You shouldn't be blind, right?" Jun Xiaoyao said. Yan Qingying raised her hand and untied the black ribbon that covered her eyes. Suddenly, a pair of beautiful eyes that were as black as ink appeared. However, those beautiful eyes were as deep as a black hole and emitted a terrifying dark demonic intent. From the moment I obtained the god-devouring demonic technique, my eyes had already recovered. However, because of the demonic technique, my eyes are special. My brother asked me to continue blindfolding them, Yan Qingying said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded, thinking that Yan Fei was indeed very thoughtful for his sister's sake. "So, young master, do you want me to hand over the inheritance of the god-devouring demonic technique?" Yan Qingying looked straight at Jun Xiaoyao. Logically speaking, she shouldn't even have the courage to question Jun Xiaoyao. However, the god-devouring demonic technique had subtly changed Yan Qingying's personality. Her personality gradually became dark, cold, and domineering. This could also explain why Yan Qingying was sad at first when Yan Fei died, and then didn't shed a single tear. Yan Qingying was gradually moving closer to the identity of a female hero. However, her words made the Battle Demon Hall Master and the others' expressions change. Yan Qingying, how can you speak to young master like that? The Battle Demon Hall Master reprimanded coldly. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly and didn't mind. He vaguely guessed that the god-devouring demonic technique might have affected Yan Qingying's personality slightly. After all, the heaven-devouring demonic lord was an extremely fierce and domineering person. How could his successor be a woman with a weak personality? I, the Son of God, am indeed interested in your god-devouring demonic technique. Hand it over, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. He didn't hide anything. At this moment, it would be hypocritical to hide anything. Jun Xiaoyao wanted the legacy of the god-devouring demonic technique. Young master is the savior of Qingying and the Battle Demon Hall. Of course I can. However, Qingying has a small condition. I want the fallen son of God to die. Yan Qingying said with killing intent. Who are you to talk terms with young master? Yu said with a frown. What was Jun Xiaoyao's identity? What was Yan Qingying's identity? Even if she was a heaven-defying woman and the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique, she was still as lowly as an ant in front of Jun Xiaoyao. What qualifications did she have to talk terms? Yan Qingying, you are too presumptuous. The Battle Demon Hall Master and the others hurriedly reprimanded. They didn't want to see Yan Qingying infuriating Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. This Yan Qingying's personality was really different from other women. To be honest, if this son of God really wants it, not to mention the god-devouring demonic technique, even the world's origin energy in your body can be easily obtained by this son of God, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. His words finally caused Yan Qingying's expression to change. She didn't expect that not only did Jun Xiaoyao see through her identity as the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. He even discovered the world's origin energy hidden deep in her body. This world's origin energy was discovered by Yan Qingying together with the god-devouring demonic technique. Only she and her brother knew about it. Yan Qingying felt as if she was completely naked in front of Jun Xiaoyao, as if she had been completely seen through. However, this Son of God can give you charity once, but at the same time, this Son of God also has a condition for you, Jun Xiaoyao said. What condition? Yan Qingying immediately replied. As long as she could kill the fallen Son of God, she was willing to pay any price. Submit to this Son of God for all eternity. Chapter 207. Jun Xiaoyao's words made Yan Qingying's expression change slightly. The word forever was used very heavily. If Yan Qingying agreed, it would mean that she would become Jun Xiaoyao's woman forever. From then on, she would only have Jun Xiaoyao as her master. Her flesh, bones, and blood would be branded with Jun Xiaoyao's mark. This condition seemed very harsh, but it also depended on the person who proposed it. No one would be willing to submit to a mediocre person. However, was Jun Xiaoyao a mediocre person? Not only was he not mediocre, but he was also extraordinary and had the most distinguished status in the entire celestial realm. Submitting to such an existence was not a humiliation, but a kind of honor. In fact, there were even people who were willing to be Jun Xiaoyao's slave. Su Ziqiang was a clear example. At this moment, Su Ziqiang's eyes were red with jealousy. It was not easy for her to get the chance to become Jun Xiaoyao's slave. In the end, this girl called Yan Qingying actually had the right to follow Jun Xiaoyao. The difference between a slave and a follower was like the difference between heaven and earth. Not only Su Ziqiang, but the cultivators of the Battle Demon Hall also looked envious. If she followed the young lord of the celestial realm, she would definitely be brought to the celestial realm in the future and soar into the sky. Yan Qingying also did not expect Jun Xiaoyao to propose such a condition. This could even be considered preferential treatment for her. Yan Qingying thought that Jun Xiaoyao would propose an even more outrageous condition. However, on second thought, if it were not for her identity as the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique, Jun Xiaoyao would probably not even look at her. Woman? Body? With Jun Xiaoyao's status, would he lack women? Yan Qingying still had this bit of self-awareness. Although she was beautiful, Jun Xiaoyao would not take a fancy to her. The only thing valuable about her was her identity as the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. Jun Xiaoyao indeed thought so. So far, aside from Jun Zhangjian and the others, his only true follower was Yu, the successor of the ancient emperor clan. Now that he had finally met a heaven-defying girl, it would be good if he could take her as his follower. Jun Xiaoyao didn't intend to kill all of the heaven-defying 10. As long as the heaven-defying child did not provoke him, Jun Xiaoyao would not want to kill him. Instead, he would want to subdue him. After all, this kind of heaven-defying child gathered the karmic luck of an entire world. If nurtured well, he would definitely become an expert of a generation in the future. Jun Xiaoyao also had an idea. Just like his father, he wanted to nurture a group of King of Gods octet. Moreover, Yan Qingying's character was slightly different from the rest. When the other women saw Jun Xiaoyao, they all turned into female licking dogs, licking him with all their might, making Jun Xiaoyao a little annoyed. Yan Qingying had a cold personality. Due to the god-devouring demonic technique, she had a dark, cold, and domineering temperament. Such a young girl shouldn't become a female licking dog, right? Yan Qingying exhaled softly. Although not big, her well-shaped chest rose and fell slightly. All right, Qingying promises, young master. As long as the fallen son of God is dead, Qingying will follow young master forever. Yan Qingying bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. The reason why she wanted to ask Jun Xiaoyao to kill the fallen son of God was because of her strength. With her own strength, she might have the ability to kill the fallen son of God in the future. However, she didn't know how long she would have to wait. Yan Qingying's hatred for the fallen son of God had reached the extreme. She couldn't wait for the fallen son of God to die tragically in front of her. All right, since you've agreed, then I, the son of God, will naturally do what I promised you. Jun Xiaoyao nodded and said. The fallen son of God had already accepted the challenge. He and the fallen son of God would have to fight in the end. To Jun Xiaoyao, there was no difference between defeating and killing. Others didn't dare to kill the fallen son of God, but it didn't mean that Jun Xiaoyao didn't dare to. After that, Jun Xiaoyao dismissed everyone, leaving only Yan Qingying behind. Hand over the god-devouring demonic technique, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yan Qingying nodded slightly. She believed that Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't go back on his word to a nobody like her. She also taught the god-devouring demonic technique to Jun Xiaoyao. With Jun Xiaoyao's monstrous talent, he naturally accepted it very quickly. He carefully savored it and was secretly speechless. The god-devouring demonic technique was indeed a demonic technique that was famous throughout the immortal realm. Its power was extremely domineering. It could absorb heaven and earth, devour gods and devils, and refine all things. To a certain extent, it was similar to the hellfire crucible that was derived from the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant. However, the hellfire crucible was obviously not as domineering as the god-devouring demonic technique. Moreover, the god-devouring demonic technique had another special feature. It could reflect the power of the divine ability that was absorbed and devoured. Now, there was something to it. After Jun Xiaoyao carefully comprehended it, he slowly raised his hand. As he activated his dermic powers, a small pitch-black vortex appeared above his palm. This small vortex emitted a suction force that devoured the surrounding matter. He succeeded just like that? Yan Qingying's beautiful eyes widened with indescribable surprise. Even she, the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique, took a long time to comprehend the initial stage of the god-devouring demonic technique. Her brother, who was said to be extraordinarily talented, spent a lot of time before he could barely use it. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao had just obtained the god-devouring demonic technique. He could use it after comprehending it for a short while. The gap between them was too big. Even Yan Qingying found it inconceivable. She finally understood how monstrous Jun Xiaoyao's talent was. In front of Jun Xiaoyao, she, the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique, was nothing. Not bad. I've learned something. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. He saw Yan Qingying's surprised eyes and knew that the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique had suffered a blow. I'm not human. Don't compare yourself to me, Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Yan Qingying. After calming herself down, Yan Qingying hesitated for a moment and then activated the dermic powers in her body. A colorful mass of matter surrounded by wisps of blood-red aura appeared. It was the world origin of the Sunluo continent. You. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yan Qingying. Qingying believes that with your strength, you should be able to fulfill the conditions. In that case, Qingying will treat you with sincerity. Qingying knows that I don't have many things that young master is interested in. Please accept this lump of world origin. Yan Qingying's tone was clear and cold, but it was filled with determination. She understood the principle of giving a peach and returning a plum. Jun Xiaoyao paused for a bit before taking the origin of the world right away without hesitation. In the future, he would go to the altar of heroes and open up the path of using the body as the seed. Naturally, the more world origin he needed, the better. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not willing to take advantage of Yan Qingying. He said, "You have the god-devouring demonic technique and can swallow and refine everything. I won't take advantage of you. After I defeat the fallen Son of God, I'll suppress him and let you refine him." Jun Xiaoyao's tone was very casual. However, the words he said were enough to shock people. Why did the dignified fallen Son of God become so insignificant in Jun Xiaoyao's words? "Thank you, young master." Yan Qingying could not ask for more. She hated the fallen Son of God to the bone. Being able to personally torture him and send him to hell was much more important than the world origin. Perhaps even the fallen Son of God did not expect this. Before the battle began, Jun Xiaoyao had already begun to arrange how to deal with him. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 208. The matter between Jun Xiaoyao and the fallen Son of God became more and more intense in the entire Sunluo continent. Everyone was looking forward to this great battle. Several days later, the fallen Son of God finally announced that he would fight with Jun Xiaoyao in the Black Mountain. The Black Mountain was the same as the Death Sea. They were both dangerous places in the Sunluo continent, filled with all kinds of demonic beasts and primordial species. It was rumored that there was a blood-stained ancient battle platform in the depths of the Black Mountain. As long as anyone stepped in and fought, they wouldn't be disturbed by the outside world. Even saints wouldn't be able to interfere with the battle. As long as the two sides entered, unless one side was completely defeated or died, the ancient battle platform wouldn't let them out. It could be said that the fallen Son of God chose such a location because he was determined to fight with all his might. Although Jun Xiaoyao was strong, he wasn't weak either. If he started to be afraid before the battle, what was the point of fighting? The fallen Son of God's actions were to cut off his own path of retreat. Only by fighting with his back against the wall could he unleash his greatest potential. If the fallen Son of God won this battle, the benefits he would obtain would be endless. This fallen Son of God is quite bold. After hearing this news, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. He knew that the fallen Son of God's actions were to extinguish the fear in his heart, completely cutting off his path of retreat. If he didn't reach the extreme realm, he would die. "Young master, this fallen Son of God wants to harm you. Why don't you let me go?" Yu said from the side. Everyone knew that the fallen Son of God wanted to step on Jun Xiaoyao in this battle. No one knew what kind of method he would use. Yu was loyal to Jun Xiaoyao and was willing to take risks for Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and said, "The fallen Son of God's target is me. He will only fight with me." Although Yu's strength was comparable to the successor of an immortal force, and he was strong enough to compete with these young geniuses of the immortal realm. However, the fallen Son of God obviously would not lower himself to fight with Jun Xiaoyao's entourage. "Spread the news that this Son of God will keep the appointment," Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Along the way, he had fought countless battles, big and small. If this fallen God-child could really give him a pleasant surprise, that would be a fortunate thing. After all, it was too invincible and boring. The news of Jun Xiaoyao's appointment was like a fuse that had been lit, causing the entire Sunluo continent to explode. Cultivators from various factions rushed to the Black Mountain. Many geniuses of the immortal realm also made their move. They could not wait to witness this great battle between the young supremes of the immortal realm. In an instant, the desolate Black Mountain, which was originally deserted, became extremely lively. Flying ancient beasts flashed across the sky, floating airships swept across the sky, and ferocious beasts pulled carriages on the ground. They were all geniuses and important figures of various factions. In just a few days, the entire Black Mountain was densely packed with people. Even the demonic beasts and archaic remains had no choice but to retreat to the deepest part of the Black Mountain. After a few days of waiting, in the distant sky, black clouds suddenly swept over. 9 white skeletal warhorses pulled a carriage across the sky. On the side, 2 black-robed figures flashed across the void and followed. "He's here. The fallen Son of God is here." Everyone was in an uproar. This young supremacy who had descended from the immortal realm was extremely powerful from the moment he appeared. He commanded the 3 factions to destroy the Battle Demon Hall. His demonic aura was overwhelming. "Is he not here yet? Do I have to wait for him?" The fallen Son of God's cold voice came from the carriage. He seemed to be a little impatient. A few hours later, a golden light flickered in the distant sky. The 9-headed lion pulled a golden carriage and walked across the sky. Yu, Su Ziqiong, Gu Yuan, Old Ancestor Dongxian, and the others were on the side. Yan Qingying, the Battle Demon Hall Master, and the cultivators of the Battle Demon Hall had also followed. The source of the Battle Demon Hall's tragedy was the fallen Son of God's order. Therefore, they wanted to witness the end of the fallen Son of God with their own eyes. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao and the others arrive, the fallen Son of God stepped out of the carriage. He was surrounded by a black mist, and his face was blurry. His grayish-white hair was very long, reaching his feet. There was a pair of black and white wings on his back, surrounded by yin and yang qi. His eyes seemed to reflect the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. It was extremely terrifying. As soon as the fallen Son of God appeared, he emitted a dark and cold aura that was suffocating. "Jun Xiaoyao, you're finally here. Are you ready to pay the price for your actions today?" The fallen Son of God said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao also walked out of the carriage. He and the fallen Son of God were like 2 extremes. The fallen Son of God was like the god of death from hell, emitting a cold and murderous aura. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was wearing a white robe and shrouded in an immortal aura, like a banished immortal. Many female cultivators of the Chunluo continent were instantly captivated by Jun Xiaoyao's appearance. "The only price I, the Son of God, have to pay is probably wasting some time," Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. These words made the fallen Son of God's expression turn even darker. As for the cultivators of the Battle Demon Hall, they all looked at fallen Shensi with extreme hatred. If it weren't for the fallen Son of God, the Battle Demon Palace wouldn't have suffered such a calamity. Yan Qingying's eyes were filled with murderous intent. The fallen Son of God also noticed Yan Qingying. After all, her aura was too special. It was different from the others. So it's really her? The fallen son of God thought to himself. He had previously guessed that the true successor of the god-devouring demonic technique might not be Yen Fei. Now, he was sure that Yen Fei's sister was the true successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. When I defeat Jun Xiaoyao, you still won't be able to escape from my grasp, the fallen son of God said in a cold voice. Why does a dead person have so much nonsense to say? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. It was true that villains died because they talked too much. Humph, the fallen son of God did not say anything further. He headed deep into the Black Mountain. Jun Xiaoyao did the same. Not long after, they arrived deep inside the Black Mountain. The rest of the cultivators who were watching the show followed them. Deep inside the Black Mountain, there was an ancient dust-covered arena. The entire arena was stained with blood, as if it was left by a peerless genius in the past. The ancient battle arena was filled with an ancient aura. The surrounding space was filled with intertwining Tao runes. If someone were to step into the arena, it would only end when one of them died. Jun Xiaoyao casually stepped onto the arena without hesitation. The fallen son of God could see the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. However, his heart was not as casual as Jun Xiaoyao. After all, he had heard about Jun Xiaoyao's legendary deeds in the immortal realm. It was impossible to say that he did not care at all. What's wrong? Are you scared? Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint smile. You are thinking too much. Who can make me, the fallen son of God, feel scared? The fallen son of God no longer hesitated and stepped onto the ancient battle arena. However, he didn't know that this single step could be the difference between life and death. A single step, Yellow Springs. Recommended reading, Load 2013. Chapter 209. Just as Jun Xiaoyao and the fallen son of God both stepped onto the battle platform, countless runes appeared in the air. In the air around the battle platform, countless runic inscriptions manifested, resembling a net that locked down the space around it. No one in the outside world could disturb them. Even saints wouldn't be able to interfere in the battle. Jun Xiaoyao, you merely defeated a few geniuses. Do you really think that you are invincible in the younger generation of the immortal realms? Those stronger than you, the fallen son of God spoke. However, before he could finish his words, Jun Xiaoyao took a step forward. Clenching his fist, he punched towards the fallen son of God. Sorry, this son of God doesn't have the habit of speaking too much to a dead person. The light of Jun Xiaoyao's fists was frightening. The space around him was filled with shadows and cracks as his fists were brought to bear. The fallen son of God's expression changed. Black chi permeated the air. He also stretched out his hand and punched out, bringing with it a surging baleful aura. Bang! After a single exchange, the fallen son of God was directly sent flying. His entire arm emitted cracking sounds. He flew for a few thousand feet before he slammed into the barrier of the void runes. Dead silence, the spectating cultivators of the Sunluo continent, as well as some geniuses from the immortal realms, were all dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Something wasn't right. Logically speaking, shouldn't it be an intense battle between the two of them? Shouldn't it be a battle of life and death, causing the heavens and earth to lose their luster? Why was it that Jun Xiaoyao sent the fallen son of God flying with a simple punch? The fallen son of God coughed dryly. His expression was extremely gloomy. There was a trace of shock in his eyes. Only he knew that his physical body was different from ordinary people. It was meticulously created by the fallen god Palace. One could say that in terms of physical strength, the fallen son of God had never feared anyone. But now, a simple punch from Jun Xiaoyao had pushed him back. Even his arm was faintly trembling. This was astonishing. This was the first time that the fallen son of God had been suppressed by another genius of his generation in terms of physical strength. This fallen son of God's body. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a strange light. Clearly, He had also discovered the strangeness of the fallen son of God's body. However, none of this mattered. If Jun Xiaoyao claimed to be number one in terms of physical strength among his peers, no one would dare to claim to be number two. Jun Xiaoyao made a grasping motion, and his magic power surged, transforming into an infernal deity spear that shot toward the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God quickly adjusted his state of mind. He was, after all, a young supreme being of the fallen God Palace and a supreme talent. Although he had lost in his first fight, it did not affect his state. So what if you have the sacred body of the ancients? A body that has declined will never rise again, the fallen Son of God said, as if he was trying to boost his confidence. He attacked again. His physical strength surged, and black evil aura wrapped around his palm as he bombarded the infernal deity's spear. With a boom, the void exploded. The black and white wings on the fallen Son of God's back flapped, and his body became extremely fast as he charged toward Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao also brought out the demonic wings and punched again. The two fists collided, and the rumbling sound was like the beating of a war drum. The void vibrated and resonated, as if it could not withstand such a huge force. This fallen Son of God is so strong. He can actually fight back and forth with the Son of God of the Jun family. He is, after all, the Son of God of the fallen God Palace. This kind of performance is normal. But why do I feel that the Son of God of the Jun family is not serious? It's like he's playing a game. Some of the geniuses of the immortal region who were watching the battle whispered. As for Yu, Su Ziqiang, and the others, they were not worried about Jun Xiaoyao at all. Their faces were calm. On the other hand, the cultivators of the Battle Demon Palace were nervous. 77 ebook, they did not know how strong Jun Xiaoyao was, so it was inevitable that they would be worried. Master, let Qingying see your true strength. Yin Qingying's dark eyes also showed a hint of curiosity. The person she wanted to follow was naturally not a mediocre person. What she wanted to see was Jun Xiaoyao using his true strength to completely conquer her. On the ancient battle platform, the two's fists collided. Jun Xiaoyao indeed did not use his full strength. He was observing the fallen Son of God's physical body. The fallen Son of God's physical body was very strange. It did not seem to be his original body. Jun Xiaoyao was very curious about this. As for the fallen Son of God, he had an illusion that his physical body was enough to compete with Jun Xiaoyao. The sacred body of the ancients is just SOSO. The fallen Son of God was getting more and more confident. He now felt that Jun Xiaoyao's strength was just a rumor. Heh. I understand. It's not yours. It's never yours. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep as he looked at the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God's expression changed slightly, and he was surprised. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao saw through his physical body? However, it did not matter. The fallen Son of God believed that Jun Xiaoyao could not defeat him. Since you understand, there's no point in delaying. Jun Xiaoyao directly activated the divine elephant overpowering force. Golden qi and blood gushed out like a volcano, turning into a lifelike golden divine elephant. The golden divine elephant roared to the sky as if it could suppress all 10 realms. Jun Xiaoyao threw a punch, releasing all of his strength. 7 billion pounds of divine power gushed out, directly shattering the space in front of him. The fallen Son of God also made a move, wanting to resist again. However, this time, his expression changed completely. A terrifying force burst out like an ancient beast crushing everything in its path. He was directly sent flying, coughing up blood, and the bones in his arms were shattered. The power of this punch was simply incomparable to the fist tip from before. It was enough to directly crush him. This not only shocked the fallen Son of God, but also made all the spectators around take a deep breath. Is this the strength of the Jun family's Son of God when he gets serious? Many of the geniuses of the immortal domain looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. The fallen Son of God was one of the most terrifying young supreme beings in the immortal domain. But now, he was being beaten up by Jun Xiaoyao one after another. On the other hand, the fallen Son of God could not cause any harm to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao, you are despicable. The fallen Son of God wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, burning with anger. He had always been the one suppressing others, and no one else had ever suppressed him. Jun Xiaoyao was the first. The fallen Son of God made a move, revealing the terrifying great divine power of the palace of the fallen god. Murderous aura surged around him, and behind him, it seemed to condense into the appearance of an 8-armed llama. The fallen Son of God struck out again, and 8 pitch-black palm prints seemed to appear, and even the void was about to collapse. It's the divine power of the palace of the fallen god, the 8-armed llama hand. Some of the geniuses of the immortal domain couldn't help but exclaim. The 8-armed llama hand was the terrifying divine power of the palace of the fallen god, and its power was unparalleled. When these 8 palms struck, even gods and Buddhas would be destroyed. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao formed the seal of the human ruler, and the shadow of an emperor appeared behind him. His figure was majestic, supporting the sky and the earth. He formed a seal with his hand, and it collided with the fallen Son of God's divine power. On one side, the shadow of the 8-armed llama appeared, and the palm prints could shatter heaven and earth. On the other side, the shadow of an emperor appeared, and a seal suppressed the universe. Chapter 2:10. As the two of them clashed, huge ripples appeared in the void. Magical energy surged, filling the entire ancient battle platform. In the midst of this shocking collision, a figure was once again sent flying. It was the fallen Son of God. For the third time, he was sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao. And this time, he was in a worse state than the previous 2 times. His body was covered in blood, and there were traces of cracks on his body. He spat out blood from his mouth as though it was free. This attack also dispersed the black mist around the fallen Son of God. A body covered in demonic runes appeared, carrying strange runes. The fallen Son of God's face was also revealed. He was handsome, but his skin was extremely pale, like a vampire. How is this possible? How can you be so strong? The fallen Son of God couldn't help but roar. He couldn't keep calm anymore. Jun Xiaoyao's physical strength was a little too freakishly strong to begin with. Looking at the fallen Son of God who lost his composure, the surrounding geniuses of the immortal domain swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The only person who could beat the fallen Son of God to such a state was probably the Son of God of the Jun family. Didn't you say that the rumors about me were all false? Now have you personally experienced it? Jun Xiaoyao looked down at the fallen Son of God from above. His aura was stable, and his white robe was flawless. He didn't look like he was in a battle at all. The eyes of the surrounding female cultivators all lit up, and they revealed an expression of infatuation. Jun Xiaoyao's charm was too strong. His white robe fluttered, and his charm was unparalleled. Every move he made was enough to suppress the fallen Son of God. At this moment, even Yan Qingying's deep and beautiful eyes couldn't help but blur for a moment. Even though she was cold and domineering like a female hero. But at this moment, when she saw Jun Xiaoyao's charm, her heart couldn't help but tremble. Upon hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, the fallen Son of God's expression turned ugly. Only now did he realize that the news about Jun Xiaoyao was not a rumor at all. His strength was truly that terrifying. Jun Xiaoyao attacked again, using the combatant formula. At the same time, he said coldly, "This body shouldn't be yours, right? Let me guess, could it be the body of an ancient freak that the palace of the fallen gods found for you?" Jun Xiaoyao's words caused the fallen Son of God's expression to change again. The fallen Son of God made his move. He activated his ultimate skill, Yama's seal, and coldly shouted, "The winner is the king while the loser is the bandit. The world will only remember the winner in the end." As long as I can become stronger, it doesn't matter what method I use. These words were almost an indirect confirmation of Jun Xiaoyao's guess. As expected, Jun Xiaoyao sneered inwardly. His fists were not something that anyone could withstand. Ordinary prodigies could not even withstand his full-strength punch, and their bodies would directly explode. But this fallen son of God's body actually lasted for so long. And under his full-strength punch, it actually only cracked and did not completely explode. This was enough to show that this body was extraordinary. Jun Xiaoyao did not believe that the fallen son of God's original body would be so strong. The only possibility was that this body did not belong to him. Moreover, the palace of the fallen gods, as one of the origins of the demonic path, had all kinds of strange divine abilities and secret technique. It was not too strange to change the body of an ancient freak. So that's how it is. The fallen son of God's body is actually an ancient freak's. After the immortal region's prodigies learned the truth, they were extremely shocked. They finally understood why the fallen Son of God was able to fight against three immortal forces' successors at the same time. The body of an ancient freak was enough to make the fallen Son of God's strength far surpass that of ordinary prodigies of the same generation. But because of this, an even more shocking thing happened. Jun Xiaoyao actually cracked the ancient freak's body until it was about to explode. What did this mean? It meant that Jun Xiaoyao's body was already stronger than that of an ancient freak's. Thinking of this, the sound of cold air hissing could be heard all around. Jun Xiaoyao's body was too terrifying. As expected of the young master, Yu was excited. Su Ziqiang also revealed an extremely fanatical look of worship, the infatuation in her eyes almost overflowing. At this time, many immortal regions prodigies also remembered that the ancient freak from Zulong, Princess Longji, seemed to be fighting with Jun Xiaoyao. At first, many people thought that Princess Longji had the bloodline of the ancient emperor and was also a descendant of the dragon tribe. Her physical strength would definitely be on par with Jun Xiaoyao. But now, after seeing that the fallen son of God's body was about to be destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao, they began to pray for Princess Longji. They hoped that Princess Longji would be fine against Jun Xiaoyao in the future. On the ancient battle platform, the wind and clouds were raging. After his identity was exposed, the fallen Son of God was even more fearless and completely unleashed his strength. He silently chanted the incantation and pushed his spiritual energy to the maximum. Around him, endless underworld runes appeared and countless demonic shadows appeared, making him look like a demon lord of hell. Could that be the fallen god Palace's Dark King of Hell scripture? Some of the immortal region's prodigies exclaimed. The Dark King of Hell scripture was the supreme technique of the fallen god Palace. It was unpredictable and powerful. At this moment, the fallen Son of God activated the Dark King of Hell scripture. Countless phantoms of Yamas, evil ghosts, and Rakshasas appeared around him. The entire ancient battle platform seemed to have turned into the netherworld. Jun Xiaoyao, even if you know my secret, it's useless. I will end your invincible legend right here and now. At this moment, the fallen Son of God was like the Lord of Hell. His eyes were full of blood. I, the Son of God, am also looking forward to someone defeating me in the future. Unfortunately, you are not worthy. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and summoned the sacred body of the ancient's phenomenon, the reverence of the 10,000 saints. Golden light shone, magical energy surged, and the shadows of thousands of saints appeared. The fallen Son of God's Dark King of Hell scripture leaned toward darkness and eeriness. Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancient's phenomenon was the best counter to such darkness and eeriness. As soon as the reverence of the 10,000 saints phenomenon appeared, many of the Sunluo continent cultivators around could not help but be suppressed by the aura. They knelt on the ground and looked extremely shocked, as if they had seen a real god. Oh my God, saints, they are all saints. Those saints are worshipping the Son of God of the Jun family. All the Sunluo continent cultivators felt their scalps go numb, and goosebumps appeared on their skin. In the 10 lands of the lower worlds, the strongest were only saints. Now, the shadows of thousands of saints were worshipping Jun Xiaoyao. One could imagine how shocked they were. Kaboom! When the sacred body phenomenon appeared, all Daos submitted. The shadows of thousands of saints pressed down, and the shadows of demons and demons let out shrill screams. Then, they began to melt like snow in spring. The fallen son of God's expression changed drastically. His moves were completely suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao attacked with the power of 70 immortal bones of the great all-embracing heaven. Immortal light surged, and the power was shocking. He blasted out with one hand, which directly pierced through the void and suppressed the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God spat out a mouthful of blood. Even if his body was an ancient freak, it could not withstand it and began to collapse. His entire body was blasted into pieces, and only some bones and tendons were left. Lord Fallen Son of God. Outside the ancient battle platform, the 2 black-robed saints' expressions changed. They hurriedly rushed out, but they were blocked by the runes around the ancient battle platform. Their expressions were ugly as they looked at the pale-faced and twisted fallen Son of God on the ancient battle platform. They had a bad feeling in their hearts. This ancient battle platform was originally used by the fallen Son of God to stimulate his potential, and at the same time, not give Jun Xiaoyao a way out. But now, his path of retreat had been sealed. The fallen Son of God was probably digging a hole for himself this time. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 2:11. The fallen Son of God originally wanted to dig a hole for Jun Xiaoyao. This ancient battle platform was originally meant to trap Jun Xiaoyao, preventing his Dao protectors from saving him. But now, the fallen Son of God was trapped. After the ancient battle platform was activated, only when one side was completely defeated or died would the Dao runes in the surrounding space be dispelled. But in the current situation, anyone with a discerning eye could tell who would be defeated. How did it become like this? The fallen Son of God shook his head. His hair was disheveled, filled with disbelief. One couldn't help but admit that his ancient freak body was very strong. Even though it was already torn apart, it was still recovering. Flesh was growing out of the wounds, wanting to heal his body. But the fallen Son of God's heart was already pounding. So what if his body could heal? It would still be torn apart by Jun Xiaoyao. You finally feel fear? This is the emotion you should have when facing this Son of God. Jun Xiaoyao took out the exterminating tyrant Sage King glove and wore it on his right hand. As a punching bag, the fallen Son of God was still very qualified. At the very least, his skin was thick and he was very resistant to beatings. He punched out again. Now that he had the exterminating tyrant Sage King glove, the power of Jun Xiaoyao's punch was even stronger. The space in front of him was like a piece of paper, directly torn apart. It was very hard to imagine that a Unity Realm genius could tear apart space so easily. Those who didn't know would think that it was a sage making a move. No, I won't be defeated. In this era, anyone can rise up. It's impossible for you to be invincible. The fallen Son of God howled. His grayish-white hair danced in the wind as his aura rose again. Strange runes rushed out from his torn body. After that, under the shocked gazes of everyone, the fallen Son of God's body actually started to heal at an extremely fast speed. Soon, it was as good as new. Isn't this a little too terrifying? Could it be that the fallen Son of God has an indestructible body? An immortal realm genius drew in a deep breath. It's not that he's indestructible, it's just that his regenerative ability is astonishing. If his physical body is destroyed, he probably won't be able to recover. Someone else was able to tell. Regardless, the fallen Son of God's performance had already shocked many people. As expected of the young supreme of the fallen God palace, if he had not run into Jun Xiaoyao, he would not have been in such a sorry state. The fallen Son of God once again activated his ultimate technique. He formed a seal with both hands. Baleful aura surged and demonic light converged. A terrifying black seal appeared. Everyone who saw it felt a chill run down their spines. That's the most powerful ability of the fallen God Palace, the fallen heaven seal. The exclamations of the geniuses of the immortal region could be heard from all directions. It was not that they were knowledgeable, but that the fallen mark was too famous in the Huangtian mystic realm. It was the ultimate technique of the fallen God Palace. It was rumored that the fallen God Palace once had an utmost exalted expert who used the fallen heaven seal to kill a utmost exalted of the same level. It was evident how powerful the fallen heaven seal was. The fallen heaven seal was also a top-level great technique on the same level as Zulong's true dragon grand technique. It was rumored that the suppression of the seal was enough to make one fall to the lowest level of hell. It was evident how powerful this great technique was. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a slight smile. It's finally getting interesting. Otherwise, it would be too boring. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. At the same time, his chest glowed. A blazing brilliance appeared. It was the activation of the Bones of Supremacy's ability. The Bones of Supremacy, another special physique of the Son of God of the Jun family. All the geniuses of the immortal region stared straight at it, their faces full of envy. Jun Xiaoyao not only had the sacred body of the ancients, but he also had the Bones of Supremacy. With two top-level physiques, it was no wonder that he could be called invincible. Jun Xiaoyao did not use the light of calamity. Instead, he directly displayed its complete form, the Hand of Heaven. In the blazing brilliance, a giant hand imprinted with endless runes appeared, bringing with it an aura that could suppress the heavens. This giant hand of calamity seemed to represent the will of the heavens, killing all living things in the world. The Hand of Heaven collided with the fallen heaven seal. It was as if 100 nuclear bombs had exploded. The void directly turned into a black hole of nothingness. Violent collision ripples spread out like a tide that could destroy the world. The black and white wings on the back of the fallen Son of God were in front of him like a shield. Even so, he was still hit by the impact, coughing up blood and flying backward. On the surface of Jun Xiaoyao's body, green light surged and condensed into the azure sky ancestral dragon armor. The shock wave bombarded the azure sky ancestral dragon armor, but it did not cause any injury to Jun Xiaoyao. Even if some of the shock wave passed through the armor and fell on Jun Xiaoyao's body. With the strength of the sacred body of the ancients, the shock wave was not much different from scratching an itch. Jun Xiaoyao did not stay idle. When the fallen Son of God was flying backward while coughing up blood, he punched again, wanting to kill the fallen Son of God completely. When the fallen Son of God saw this, a trace of fear finally appeared on his face. The black and white wings on his back vibrated, and the yin and yang qi flowed. This was not the fallen Son of God's own innate magic. It was a magic that came with the body of an ancient freak, which was also a special constitution. As the black and white wings vibrated, it seemed to manifest the mysteries of yin and yang. Two rays of black and white light swept toward Jun Xiaoyao, blocking the tip of his fist. These wings. Jun Xiaoyao was surprised and saw that the wings were extraordinary. Jun Xiaoyao, do you think you're the only one with a special constitution? Have a taste of my fallen angel wings. The fallen Son of God roared angrily. This pair of fallen angel wings was very terrifying. The yin and yang qi lingering around it caused the space to become chaotic. Chaotic yin and yang, suppressing all living things. Even EU, Su Ziqiong and the others had grave expressions on their faces when they sensed the might of the fallen angel wings. The fallen Son of God did have what it took. Just this pair of fallen angel wings alone was enough to let him surpass many young supreme beings. Coupled with the body of an ancient freak, it was reasonable for the fallen Son of God to be able to make such a name for himself. However, all of this was useless in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Looking at the black and white demonic light attacking him, Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand, and his magic power surged. A pitch-black vortex suddenly expanded out of the vortex. The black and white demonic light was directly sucked into it. That's... The fallen Son of God was stunned. His mouth opened slightly, but he couldn't say a word. He knew what move Jun Xiaoyao had used, but it was because of this that he was stunned. Devouring God demonic art. The fallen Son of God couldn't help but roar in disbelief. The devouring God demonic art was the ultimate skill of the heaven-devouring evil lord. Even if Yan Qingying had imparted the devouring God demonic art to Jun Xiaoyao in these few days, it was impossible for him to master it so quickly. Seeing the fallen Son of God's dumbfounded expression, Jun Xiaoyao looked at him with pity. Ordinary people really couldn't understand his talent. Jun Xiaoyao's talent couldn't be judged by common sense. He activated the devouring God demonic art again, and the black and white demonic light flew out of the black hole again. This was another ability of the devouring God demonic art. Of course, this ability also had its limit. If the opponent's move was too strong, or if the black hole was destroyed, it naturally couldn't be reflected back. Poochie! The sudden demonic light swept over and directly pierced through the fallen Son of God's shoulder and waist, causing blood to splatter. Jun Xiaoyao didn't delay any longer. He wanted to end the battle completely. He wore the Saint King Exterminating Overlord glove on his right hand. He punched out, and the power of reincarnation surged. It was as if there were 6 small worlds of reincarnation pressing down with his fist, destroying everything. It was the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 212. The fallen Son of God had used all his trump cards, and it could be said that he had exerted 100% of his strength. But he still couldn't hurt Jun Xiaoyao in the slightest. This made people feel extremely desperate. The fallen Son of God couldn't compete with Jun Xiaoyao. Even if he could only injure Jun Xiaoyao, it would be fine. At least he would feel a little better. But now, Jun Xiaoyao didn't even have a single injury on his body, which made people feel desperate. The strength of the two was not on the same level at all. Jun Xiaoyao was simply crushing him all the way. Anyone with discerning eyes could see that the fallen Son of God was doomed to be defeated. The power of the 6 paths of reincarnation fist was surging, as if it was going to pull people into reincarnation and crush them into powder. The surrounding space was torn to pieces by the 6 reincarnation vortexes, and the fallen Son of God, under such an attack, his physical body was torn apart again. Blood spurted out, and he looked extremely miserable. At this moment, the fallen Son of God's eyes finally showed a hint of fear. That's right. As the top successor of the fallen God Palace, the fallen Son of God, who had never known what fear was finally afraid at this moment. It was hard to imagine that the cold-hearted and cruel fallen Son of God would show such an expression. Seeing the indifference in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, the fallen Son of God's heart sank. He knew that Jun Xiaoyao wanted to kill him. Jun Xiaoyao, do you really dare to kill me? The fallen Son of God couldn't help but roar. Your words are stupid. Why wouldn't I, the Son of God, dare? Jun Xiaoyao sneered. I am the successor of the fallen God Palace. If you really kill me, the fallen God Palace won't let it go. The fallen Son of God had no choice but to use his background. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and sneered. This kind of method of using his background when he couldn't win was really stupid. This kind of threat might be effective against others, but to Jun Xiaoyao it was laughable. Was there a need to be afraid of fallen God Palace? At least, Jun Xiaoyao didn't think it was necessary. He punched again and completely defeated the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God wanted to take out some protective treasures, but to his despair, he discovered that this ancient battle platform actually restricted his means. No cheating methods could be used. Ah! the fallen Son of God couldn't help but roar towards the sky. His gray hair danced in the wind, and he was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. He was truly filled with hatred. It was as if he had dug his own grave and jumped into it. June family's Son of God, stop! The two black-robed saints couldn't help but shout. They were unable to intervene in the battle, and could only watch anxiously from the outside. How dare you! Old Ancestor Dongxian, Gu Yuan, and the others also shouted as they unleashed their saint cultivation base and confronted the two black-robed saints. Jun Xiaoyao completely defeated the fallen Son of God and completely lost the ability to resist. However, Jun Xiaoyao let the fallen Son of God live and didn't kill him directly. What's going on? Is the Jun family's Son of God going to show mercy? Some of the Immortal Region's geniuses were suspicious. You're thinking too much. With the Jun family's Son of God style, is he such a person? Some other geniuses shook their heads. The fallen Son of God obviously understood that Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't let him go. However, he had left fallen Godchild with a single breath of life. At this moment, the Tao patterns in the void around the ancient battle platform began to dissipate. Because the outcome had been decided. Young Master! The two black-robed saints couldn't help but attack. However, they were blocked by Old Ancestor Dongxian and Gu Yuan. Yan Qingying turned into an afterimage and flashed towards the ancient battle platform. I'll leave him to you. You'll be the one to end his life. Jun Xiaoyao tossed the beaten fallen divine child to Yan Qingying. The death of Yan Qingying's brother, Yan Fei, was actually blamed on the fallen Son of God. The fallen Son of God was Yan Qingying's obsession. If this obsession was not eliminated, it would affect Yan Qingying's Tao heart. Jun Xiaoyao didn't want any cracks to appear in his followers' Tao heart. Therefore, he let the fallen Son of God live and let Yan Qingying deal with it to end her obsession. Jun Xiaoyao, you! Blood gushed out of the fallen Son of God's mouth, but his expression was filled with grief and anger. If he was killed by Jun Xiaoyao, although it would be a tragedy, at least it wouldn't be considered as degrading to his status. After all, the person who killed him was the strongest genius of the immortal realm. Now, however, Jun Xiaoyao was about to let a girl from the lower worlds end his life. This was a humiliation to the fallen Son of God. Fallen Son of God, when you casually issued the order and caused my brother's death, you probably didn't expect such an outcome, did you? Yan Qingying's eyes were cold and deep like the night stars. If Jun Xiaoyao didn't interfere halfway, I would have gotten everything. The fallen Son of God's eyes were bloodshot. He didn't beg for mercy because he knew it was impossible. Then die, pay for my brother's life. Yan Qingying attacked. A pitch-black devouring vortex appeared like a pitch-black millstone, crushing everything. What? That girl is the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. When they saw Yan Qingying attack, countless people in the surroundings exclaimed in surprise. Some of the geniuses of the immortal realm also completely understood why Jun Xiaoyao would do such a thing. It was because he wanted to completely subdue the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. Sigh, now I finally understand the gap between me and the Jun family's Son of God. Not only is the Jun family's Son of God powerful, but his wisdom is also top-notch. He has long been prepared to subdue the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. In comparison, the fallen Son of God's defeat is not unjust. Many geniuses sighed. The fallen Son of God's broken body was sucked into the devouring vortex. Even the true spirit in the divine palace couldn't escape the fate of being devoured. That kind of pain was thousands of times more painful than death by 1,000 cut. In the end, the fallen Son of God's entire body was devoured. His flesh and blood essence turned into pure energy and was refined by Yan Qingying. Her aura also began to skyrocket and reached the consolidation realm. At the same time, energy began to gather behind Yan Qingying, and then it turned into a pair of black and white wings. That's the fallen angel wings. Everyone exclaimed. Wasn't that the fallen son of God's special physique? Why did it appear on Yan Qingying's body? Jun Xiaoyao wasn't too surprised when he saw this. As the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique, Yan Qingying obviously didn't just rely on the god-devouring demonic technique. It must be that her physique was somewhat special and was very suitable for absorbing all kinds of energy attribute. That was why she was chosen to become the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. At this moment, Yan Qingying was wearing a long black dress. Her figure was slender, and a pair of black and white fallen angel wings spread out behind her back. At a glance, she really did look like a beautiful fallen angel. She already had the appearance and aura of a young paragon. It wouldn't be long before Yan Qingying caught up with the younger generation of the immortal realm and became Jun Xiaoyao's capable follower. Qingying, thank you for your kindness, young master. I will be loyal to young master forever. Yan Qingying knelt down on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Her beautiful eyes, which were as dark as the night stars, were filled with determination. At the same time, there was a hint of admiration hidden deep in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao suppressed the fallen son of God with just a wave of his hand and avenged her. Who wouldn't love such a man? Yan Qingying was probably going to become Jun Xiaoyao's bitch. As for the two black-robed sages, their hearts sank completely. The big shots of the fallen god palace of the immortal realm were probably really going to be furious. At the same time, in the Huangtian immortal realm, where the fallen god palace was located, the angry roar of a paragon could be heard. Who is it? Chapter 213. The anger of a supreme being shook heaven and earth. Countless mountains around the palace of the fallen god collapsed, the clouds shook and heaven and earth cracked. This roar spread across a radius of 100,000 miles. The various forces were all incomparably shocked. What's going on? That roar came from the palace of the fallen god. It should be the supreme being of the palace of the fallen god, but who dares to provoke the palace of the fallen god? Are they tired of living? No, no one is provoking the palace of the fallen god now. Could it be that something happened to the fallen son of God of the palace of the fallen god in the lower worlds? The fallen son of God, is that the top successor of the palace of the fallen god? How could something happen to him? How many in the lower worlds would dare to attack the fallen son of God? In all directions, countless forces were alarmed by this roar and began to make all kinds of guesses. The supreme being of the palace of the fallen god was indeed angry after seeing the fallen son of God's soul lamp extinguished. In the lower worlds, there was actually someone who dared to kill the successor of the palace of the fallen god. However, not long after, the two black-robed saints in the lower worlds sent the news. The fallen son of God died because of Jun Xiaoyao. When the supreme being of the palace of the fallen god received the news, he was even more furious. The son of God of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao, dared to kill the successor of the palace of the fallen god. How dare you? When the supreme being was angry, the sun and the moon lost their color, and the world lost its light. His furious voice spread all over the place. Every single immortal region cultivator who heard this voice was stunned. Then they were dumbfounded. The son of God of the Jun family killed the fallen son of God in the lower worlds? Damn, this news is too shocking. Even the fallen son of God was no match for the son of God of the Jun family? This is too terrifying. Is the son of God of the Jun family really going to be invincible among the younger generation? This news caused an uproar in all directions. Jun Xiaoyao had been known to be invincible among the younger generation in the Huangtian mystic realm. Now that he had killed the son of God, there was no doubt that Jun Xiaoyao would gain even more glory. However, there were also some people who felt that Jun Xiaoyao had provoked the fallen god palace and would feel somewhat uncomfortable. Many people were also waiting to see what fallen god palace would do. Just as everyone was waiting for the next move of the fallen god palace. An incomparably terrifying and resplendent sword light broke through hundreds of millions of layers of space and slashed down at the fallen god palace. The June family has gone too far. The supreme of the fallen god palace, who had just roared coldly, shouted again. Boom! Billions of rays of light spread out, and fluctuations swept out in all directions. Muffled groans sounded. Drops of resplendent supreme being blood fell from the horizon, smashing into a mountain range. An imposing demonic figure fell from the sky and fell into the palace of the fallen god. The surrounding factions did not dare to get too close. They could only observe from afar. The supreme of the fallen god palace was injured. Everyone's eyes were shocked. The drops of supreme being blood were filled with holiness, and they smashed through the mountain range. This meant that the supreme of the fallen god palace was bleeding. Just a streak of sword light was enough to injure a supreme being from fallen divine palace. This was just too shocking. At the same time, an aged voice was also heard from countless distances away, from the void. Is the fallen god palace a bunch of dogs? You like to bark and disturb people's peace. The next time you bark, I will destroy your fallen god palace. These domineering words silenced all the factions, and their faces were completely stunned. Perhaps only the June family dared to say such words. The face of the injured supreme of the fallen god palace was red with anger. The heir of their fallen god palace was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. Could they not even shout? Moreover, they were being treated as if they were dogs barking. This was simply humiliating. The supreme of the fallen god palace was so angry that his internal organs were burning. He was so angry that he wanted to kill the Jun family directly. But when he thought of the Jun family's heritage, and those old farts sleeping in the ancestral temple, the supreme of the fallen god palace suppressed the anger in his heart. The fallen god palace was not weak, but if they really went up against the Jun family, if things went out of hand, it would be a devastating blow to the fallen god palace. Forget it. Just bear with it for now. I believe the Jun family won't be able to be so arrogant for much longer. Deep in the fallen god palace, other supreme beings spoke and advised. The supreme of the fallen god palace did not get angry in the end and endured it. Looking at the silent fallen god palace, all the cultivators of the surrounding factions were as if petrified. As one of the origins of the demonic path in the Huangtian mystic realm, the fallen god palace was scared? This was simply strange. As a demonic cultivator force, the fallen god palace had always been domineering. Even against immortal forces of the same level, the fallen god palace had never been inferior to anyone and was very strong. But now they were suppressed by the Jun family and did not dare to be presumptuous. The Jun family, one of the three great families of the Yu family, is indeed very powerful. Yeah, they are indeed one of the top families of the clan of the Ancients. The fallen god palace is strong, but the Jun family is even stronger than the fallen god palace. Everyone sighed. This news would probably spread throughout the mystic realm soon. On the Jun family's side, in the void, a child in a gray robe, who looked no more than 10 years old, put away the sword in his hand. Although he looked like a child, his eyes were full of vicissitudes of life and age. It was the 16th ancestor of the Jun family, who had swallowed the fruit of the way of longevity and had always maintained the appearance of a child. Haha, this sword should be enough to suppress the fallen god palace. On the side, a thin old man in a gray robe smiled faintly. It was the 18th ancestor. Humph, isn't it just the death of a child of the younger generation? Is there a need to have such a big reaction? The 16th ancestor snorted. The 18th ancestor smiled and said nothing. He believed that, if something had happened to Jun Xiaoyao, their reaction would probably be more extreme than the supreme of the fallen god palace. Everyone had double standards. If the fallen divine son died, then he died. It had nothing to do with them. But if Jun Xiaoyao had been hurt by someone, the 16th ancestor would probably come to their door with a sword and cut them down. Of course, this kind of thing would not happen, because the peers who could hurt Jun Xiaoyao had not appeared so far. The 16th ancestor smiled and said, "But Xiaoyao's performance was satisfactory. He even killed the fallen Son of God." I heard that the physical body of the fallen Son of God was the body of an ancient freak that the fallen God Palace dug out from a divine source. In that case, Xiaoyao should be able to deal with those ancient freaks, the 18th ancestor said. That's good. I was a little worried before that Xiaoyao would have some problems when he went up against that little girl from Zulong. Now, it seems that I don't have to worry at all. The 16th ancestor chuckled. Heh. I'm also looking forward to seeing how powerful Xiaoyao will become when he returns to the mystic realm. The 18th ancestor smiled. I'm afraid he will completely dominate the younger generation of the mystic realm. The 16th ancestor chuckled. Let's wait and see. The glory of the Jun family needs Xiaoyao to continue. The 18th ancestor took a deep breath and sighed. Yes, the Jun family has its glory, but it also has a heavy burden. The 16th ancestor's smile faded a little. Behind the glory, there was a loneliness. Behind the glory of the Jun family, they had paid an unimaginable price. These great ancestors of the Jun family were very far-sighted. Although the Jun family was glorious, there was a turbulent undercurrent under the surface. Jun Xiaoyao had to grow up quickly to become the pillar of the Jun family. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 214. Jun Xiaoyao naturally didn't know what had happened in the immortal realm. Even if he knew, he would just laugh it off. Being born in such a protective family, he believed that the fallen God Palace wouldn't dare to do anything to him. At least on the surface, they wouldn't dare to attack him. Jun Xiaoyao, you've gotten yourself into big trouble. We've already sent the news back. Even the Jun family can't ignore the anger of the fallen God Palace, a black-robed saint said in a cold and hoarse voice. Don't you dare speak to the young master again. Old ancestor Dong Xian and Gu Yuan's eyes were filled with coldness. It was especially so for Gu Yuan. Jun Xiaoyao had gone against the fallen Shensi for the sake of the Battle Demon Hall. He wouldn't allow anyone to speak to Jun Xiaoyao so presumptuously. Just as the two black-robed saints were about to say something, they also received another message. After hearing the news, the two black-robed saints' expressions immediately froze. There was only one short sentence in the message. Don't provoke the Jun family's Son of God for now. This made the two black-robed saints dumbfounded. It was Jun Xiaoyao who had caused the fallen Son of God's death. Why couldn't they provoke Jun Xiaoyao now? Seeing the two black-robed saints' expressions, Jun Xiaoyao had expected it and sneered. What? Are you going to fight this Son of God to the end? When the two black-robed saints heard this, their expressions turned ugly as if they had eaten a fly. They weren't stupid. From this message, they could tell that the fallen God Palace was afraid of the Jun family and had given in. They even said that the fallen God Palace would make Jun Xiaoyao pay the price. But now, the fallen God Palace was the first to give in. The two saints' cheeks burned as if they had been slapped 100 times. They didn't stay any longer and turned to leave. Looking at the two saints who had fled, all the geniuses of the immortal realm were stunned. What happened to the revenge? Why did they run away with their tails between their legs? Yan Qingying admired Jun Xiaoyao even more as she watched the scene unfold. Presumably, Jun Xiaoyao's background was more powerful than she had imagined. Following such a master, not only was it not a disgrace, but it was also an honor. All right, this matter is over. Your Battle Demon Hall should also prepare to rebuild, Jun Xiaoyao said with a wave of his hand. Gu Yuan and the Battle Demon Palace Master were extremely excited when they heard this. Many thanks, young master. The two of them kowtowed sincerely. They believed that with Jun Xiaoyao's remaining influence, the rebuilt Battle Demon Hall would definitely develop even better. The Battle Demon Hall would once again become the overlord of the Sunluo continent. In the next few days, Jun Xiaoyao stayed in the Sunluo continent and took a short break. On the other hand, the cultivators of the Battle Devil Hall were under the lead of the 7th Hall Master, Gu Yuan, and they were fighting in all directions. Not only did he completely take over the foundation of the 3 great sects, but he also conquered many other forces. There were also many other factions that rushed over to join the Battle Demon Hall. The Battle Demon Hall also chose a large territory in the center of the Sun Luo continent as the location for the reconstruction. The entire Battle Demon Hall was thriving and thriving. One could imagine that it would not be long before a true overlord appeared in the Sun Luo continent. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he had also gained something in the Sun Luo continent. He had obtained the origin of the Sun Luo continent and obtained the god-devouring demonic technique. He had also taken in a heaven-defying woman with endless potential as his follower. In terms of potential, Yan Qingying was not much weaker than Yu. However, Yu had been born in the ancient emperor clan since he was young. His cultivation and vision were stronger than Yan Qingying, a genius from the lower realm. However, as long as Yan Qingying was given time, with her god-devouring demonic technique and her special physique that could accommodate any type of energy, in the future, she would definitely grow into a powerful Dark Queen. Jun Xiaoyao was still confident in his judgment in choosing people. Inside the newly built Battle Devil Palace, there was a hall where hot steam filled the air. As he knew that Jun Xiaoyao had a hobby of soaking in hot springs, even though he might only stay here for a few days, Gu Yuan still got someone to build a hot spring pool. At this moment, the person serving Jun Xiaoyao was not Su Ziqiong, but Yan Qingying. Su Ziqiong's job as a maid was first snatched away by Nalan Ruashi, and now it was snatched away by Yan Qingying. This made Su Ziqiong a little unhappy. She could not see Jun Xiaoyao's perfect body. When she had to do something at night, it was difficult for her to imagine Jun Xiaoyao's appearance. In the hot spring pool, Jun Xiaoyao was resting with his eyes closed. Yan Qingying used her jade-like hands to massage his shoulders. Defeating the fallen son of God was considered easy for Jun Xiaoyao, so he did not need to adjust his state at all. He just wanted to relax. Yan Qingying's face that was as white as snow and tender as cream was slightly flushed. Even though her personality was affected by the god-devouring demonic technique and had some negative dark and cold emotions. However, all of this disappeared without a trace in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She would only disperse her coldness and become a little woman in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Qingying, you have almost completely digested the power of the fallen Son of God, right? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Yes, it's all thanks to you. On one hand you took revenge for me, and on the other hand you improved my strength, Yan Qingying said gently. That's good. In the future, I will let you devour other geniuses. Your strength will improve rapidly, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yan Qingying hesitated for a moment, but she still said faintly, Young master, this god-devouring demonic technique is outrageous and cannot be tolerated by heaven and earth. The demon ancestor who created this technique also ended up in a situation where everyone wanted to kill him. When the time comes, this was the only thing Yan Qingying was worried about. The god-devouring demonic technique was outrageous. If she really followed Jun Xiaoyao back to the immortal domain, she would bring trouble to Jun Xiaoyao because of her identity as the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. That was not what Yan Qingying wanted to see. So this is what you are worried about? Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and laughed. Indeed, the heaven-devouring demon ancestor was notorious in the immortal domain. He was like a rat crossing the street. But so what? In the end, the heaven-devouring demon ancestor escaped to the lower world with serious injuries. He ended up in such a miserable state because he was alone and did not have any power behind him. Moreover, he used the god-devouring demonic technique to cause trouble every day. If he did not die, who would? However, Yan Qingying was different. With Jun Xiaoyao supporting her, who would dare to criticize her identity as the successor of the demonic technique? What a silly girl! Jun Xiaoyao sighed. Yan Qingying lowered her head in embarrassment, her cheeks blushing. If it was someone else who called her that, Yan Qingying would have charged over. However, Yan Qingying only felt a little shy when Jun Xiaoyao called her that. It was as if he was pampering her. Don't worry. I, the Son of God, will support you. If anyone in the immortal domain dares to criticize your identity as the successor of the God-devouring demonic technique, I will kill their entire family and turn them into your nourishment. Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. He had inherited the protective nature of the Jun family. Since Yan Qingying had sincerely followed him, Jun Xiaoyao naturally would not let her down. Young master. Yan Qingying's heart went numb. She was so touched that her heart was in a mess. Jun Xiaoyao had done a lot for her. With a master who treated her so sincerely, what reason did she have not to follow him wholeheartedly? Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 215. Just as the situation in the Sunluo continent was gradually stabilizing, the flames of war had been burning on the Hidden Dragon continent for many days. The Dayan dynasty and the Heavenly Demon royal clan had engaged in hundreds of battles of various sizes. And in these battles, the Dayan dynasty was losing ground. This was because they weren't just facing the Heavenly Demon royal clan. There were also the Black-Winged Bat clan, the Yiksha royal clan, and the Three-Eyed Spirit clan. These three sinful clans had been rescued by the Heavenly Demon royal clan, who had then joined forces to take revenge on the Dayan dynasty. And that wasn't all. In addition to the four sinful clans, there was another faction that was interfering. Although they didn't help openly, they hid under black cloaks to help the Heavenly Demon royal clan and the other factions. They were the people that the goddess of the demon god palace, Yen Ruming, had brought from the immortal region. Of course, they didn't dare to openly reveal their identity as the Demon God Palace, as that would be openly going against the Jun family. Therefore, they concealed it slightly. Although this kind of concealment wasn't much different from nothing, it wasn't that straightforward. If the Jun family wanted to punish them, they would have an excuse. Yen Ruming couldn't dissuade the Heavenly Demon Crown Prince, who insisted on destroying the Dayan dynasty before returning to the immortal region. Yen Ruming had no choice but to let old he and the others help the Heavenly Demon royal clan. Under the joint attack of the four sinful clans and the Demon God Palace's saint, even the strongest of the five factions, the Dayan dynasty, couldn't withstand it. The western wilderness, Nanling, and northern plains fell one after another, and the Dayan dynasty's army suffered countless casualties. The four sinful clans marched directly toward the Dayan dynasty's main camp, the Eastern Lands. The mighty army of sinners blotted out the sky and covered the sun. There were quasi-saints and saints in each of the sinful clans. There were also many void gods, true gods, heavenly gods, and Tao gods. When such a sinful army gathered together, they could wipe out an entire region, even in the immortal region, let alone in the lower realm. At this moment, in the army, Yen Ruming's figure appeared. She wore a long pink dress, and her snow-white face was flawless. Her skin was soft and tender, and her figure was graceful to the extreme. A pair of plump snow-white long legs, slender and tender, tempting people to drool over. She looked at the Sky Demon Crown Prince and said, "Sky Demon Crown Prince, I'll give you one last warning. If you stop now and follow me back to the immortal region, you still have time. If the Son of God of the Jun family or other experts of the Jun family arrive, not even the Demon God Palace will be able to save you." Hearing Yen Ruming's warning, the Sky Demon Crown Prince didn't say anything. Beside him, a beautiful woman in black soft armor giggled. "Goddess, aren't you a little too afraid of that so-called Son of God of the Jun family? Is he really that powerful?" This coquettish woman was the Yiksha princess of the Yiksha royal clan, another sinful clan. She was also a proud daughter of the heavens. However, the person she worshipped the most was still the Sky Demon Crown Prince. After all, it was the Heavenly Demon Crown Prince who had helped the Yiksha royal family break the seal. Coupled with the Sky Demon Crown Prince's handsome appearance, the Yaksha princess naturally fell in love with him. Hearing the Yaksha princess's words, Yen Ruming's lips curled into a cold smile. The scariest thing about a person wasn't his weak cultivation, but his short-sightedness. They had no idea how terrifying the son of God of the June family was. I can tell you that the son of God of the June family is almost invincible among his peers in the Huangtian mystic realm, Yen Ruming said. Trending searches enough, Yen Ruming. You've been talking about the son of God of the June family. Do you like him? The Sky Demon Crown Prince's face darkened. He originally had some thoughts about Yen Ruming. After all, such a stunningly beautiful woman was a rare species. In addition, she was also the goddess of the Demon God Palace and had the Demon Emperor's body, which made her a perfect match for the Sky Demon Crown Prince. However, Yen Ruming kept talking about how powerful Jun Xiaoyao was, which made the Sky Demon Crown Prince very unhappy. No matter how powerful the son of God of the Jun family was, could he be so powerful? Yen Ruming's face turned slightly pale when she heard that. She reminded them out of kindness, but the Sky Demon Crown Prince and the Yaksha princess ignored her and even mocked her. Okay, I'll take it that I said too much. Pray that you don't run into him. Yen Ruming's face was cold. She flashed and disappeared into the void. She would not take the initiative to participate in the war. Seeing Yen Ruming leave, the Yaksha princess curled her lips and held the Sky Demon Crown Prince's arm with both hands. Her plump breasts kept rubbing against the Sky Demon Crown Prince's arm. Your Highness, don't be unhappy. That goddess is probably just scaring you. She just wants you to return to the mystic realm as soon as possible. The son of God of the Jun family? What a joke. The Yaksha princess flattered. They had always been in the lower realm, so they had never heard of Jun Xiaoyao's name. You're right. That son of God of the Jun family is nothing. I have the bloodline of the demon god. Even if that son of God of the Jun family is as powerful as Yen Ruming said, I can still suppress him. The Sky Demon Crown Prince said proudly. The Yaksha princess' flattery made him feel very comfortable. Your Highness, after the battle with the Dayan dynasty, The Yaksha princess moved her red lips closer to the Sky Demon Crown Prince in a seductive manner. Haha, good. When the time comes, I'll make sure you have a great time. The Sky Demon Crown Prince laughed and hugged the Yaksha princess' waist. Although the Yaksha princess was not as good as Yen Ruming, she was still a pretty girl. But it was not bad to play with her. Just as the Sinful Alliance army was heading toward the Dayan dynasty's imperial city, the Dayan dynasty was also fully prepared for war. Outside the imperial city, a dense army formed into square formations, ready to go. All kinds of formations were in a pre-activated state, ready to be activated at any time. Above the sky, several figures stood in the void. They were the saints of the Dayan dynasty. The man in the middle was dressed in a royal robe. He was the royal lords of Dayan. How is the situation with the ancient god clan? The royal lords of Dayan asked. A general next to him replied, the situation is not good over there. The ancient demon clan and the ancient demon clan betrayed the Jun family. The ancient god clan will be the first to be targeted. It's good enough that they can hold on. They are still waiting for us to rescue them. Hearing this news, the royal lords of Dayan sighed deeply. Sigh, those damned ancient demon clan and ancient demon clan. I knew they had bad intentions. But who gave them the courage to betray the Jun family? Spies have gathered information. It seems to be related to the primordial divine mountain and the primordial royal clan. They are also related to the Archean royalty of the mystic realm, the general said. I see. It seems that the Archean royalty of the mystic realm is playing a game with the Jun family. It's just making things difficult for us. The royal lords of Dayan were worried. Now that the four Sinful Alliance army was attacking, there was also the saint of the demon god palace who was hiding his identity. The royal lords of Dayan were worried. The general next to him comforted, "Your Majesty, don't be so pessimistic. At least the younger generation has experienced the flames of war. Many people have emerged, such as the 16th prince." Hearing this, the royal lords of Dayan were slightly relieved. They looked down at a young man in a brocade robe. The 16th prince, who had been the least important to him, had become a young hero in the flames of war. At this moment, the 16th prince, Fong Han, was in high spirits with his black hair fluttering in the wind. Although a storm was coming, he was full of excitement. Chapter 216. The battle on the Hidden Dragon continent was on the verge of breaking out. At the same time, Jun Xiaoyao was also preparing to depart from the Sunluo continent. He had only come to the Sunluo continent as a transit point. However, he was delayed for a while because of the War Demon Palace and the fallen Son of God. Jun Xiaoyao only rested for a few days before setting off again. This time, however, there was one more person in their team, Yan Qingying. They stepped onto the Sunluo continent's teleportation portal and landed on the Hidden Dragon continent. As soon as they arrived at the Hidden Dragon continent, they understood the situation. The sinners were seeking revenge, and the Dayan dynasty's army was retreating. There were even other forces that were helping the sinners. The allied forces of the four sinners were also heading toward the eastern lands, toward the Dayan dynasty's capital city. Interesting. There are other forces that dare to help the sinners against my Jun family's followers. They must be tired of living. A cold smirk appeared on Jun Xiaoyao's deity-like face. Helping the sinners against the Dayan dynasty was secondary. The main thing was that this force seemed to be looking down on the Jun family. The dignity of the Jun family of the ancients was not to be blasphemed. As the son of God of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao could not turn a blind eye to this. "Let's go to the Dayan dynasty's capital city," Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's cold and expressionless face, everyone was stunned. Yu, old ancestor Dongxian, and the others were silent. They knew that Jun Xiaoyao never showed his emotions on his face. His expression was enough to show the cold anger in Jun Xiaoyao's heart. "Those sinners are in for it." Old ancestor Dongxian sighed inwardly. 7 days passed. The allied forces of the four sinners were like a sharp knife that stabbed into the heart of the eastern lands, approaching the Dayan dynasty's capital city. The Dayan dynasty had made all kinds of preparations. The entire royal city was like a steel fortress. However, the expressions of the royal lords of Dayan and the others were very solemn, and there was even a trace of determination. He knew that the Dayan dynasty was doomed. At this moment, on the walls of the royal capital, a young girl wearing a light purple gauze dress stood in the wind. The young girl's facial features were exquisite beyond compare. Her starry eyes were like lacquer, and she had a fine nose and a small mouth. Her delicate body was extremely slender, and her skin was as white as jade. Her entire being seemed to be full of spirit, and she carried an aura of spirituality, just like an elf. This fairy-like, beautiful, and noble girl was Jun Inger. At this moment, there was a grave expression on her face. Logically speaking, with Jun Inger's status, there was no need for her to fight at all. However, Jun Inger's pride as a member of the Jun family made it impossible for her to hide in the back. She was a member of the Jun family, and the blood of the Jun family flowed through her veins. Although it was just an inconspicuous side branch, that sense of family honor was integrated into her bones and blood. Next to her stood a young man in a brocade robe, looking at Jun Inger with a gentle gaze. It was the 16th prince, Fong Han. In the face of the impending war, Fong Han did not panic at all. As for why he did not panic? Of course, it was because Fong Han knew that he was the destined protagonist of the Hidden Dragon continent. Only those with supreme fortune could obtain the Hidden Dragon continent's god's sacrificial talisman. If Fong Han could obtain it, it proved that he was destined. Would the protagonist chosen by the heavens die so easily? Of course not. Fong Han even thought that even if the Dayan dynasty really fell, he would not die. Instead, He would rise in the chaotic world and become the ruler of the hidden dragon continent. Because of this confidence, Fang Han did not panic at all. He even looked at Jun Ing-er with an infatuated and gentle gaze. Feeling Fang Han's gaze, Jun Ing-er frowned slightly and said, "Fang Han, now that the enemy is before us, we must all be prepared. This may be the most difficult battle." "Ing-er, of course I know. However, in the past battles, when have I not turned danger into safety?" Fang Han said with a smug smile. Hearing Fang Han call her Ing-er, Jun Ing-er still frowned. Before, Fang Han was very careful and polite, calling her Princess Ing-er. As Fang Han showed his talent and became stronger, his personality had also changed imperceptibly. Now, he even began to call her Ing-er directly. Although Jun Ing-er was a little disgusted, Fang Han was right about one thing. In the previous battles, big and small, Fang Han was indeed able to turn danger into safety every time, and his strength would greatly increase. "I am very happy that you have grown to this point. You are already very amazing," Jun Ing-er said casually. She was just praising him out of courtesy. However, Fang Han took it seriously and was very happy. "I am getting closer and closer to becoming the hero in Ing-er's heart," Fang Han said to himself. In this battle, he would completely shine and let Jun Ing-er know. He was the hero in Jun Ing-er's heart. Just as Fang Han began to fantasize and even fantasize about Jun Ing-er throwing herself into his arms after the battle rumble, the ground suddenly began to tremble like the surface of a drum. "It's coming!" In the sky, a group of powerhouses from the Dayan dynasty and some from the Jun family's side branches in the lower worlds all had serious expressions. They looked around. In the distant sky, on the horizon, a black tide was overturning. It was the densely packed Sinful Alliance army. Among them, there was a three-eyed spirit that looked like a small giant. It had a third eye between its eyebrows that could manifest all kinds of magic. It could even release a petrifying light to petrify the enemy. This clan used to be one of the most powerful clans in the mystic realm. They stirred up trouble and were eventually suppressed by the Jun family. In the sky, the Black-Winged Bat clan and the Yiksha royal clan were flying. These two clans were also ferocious clans that were cruel by nature. The Black-Winged Bat clan liked to eat blood, while the Yiksha royal clan had caused endless bloodshed. Finally, there was the Heavenly Demon royal clan, whose demonic chi soared to the sky. This clan once had the blood of the demon emperor flowing in their veins. They were extremely noble and had a great reputation in the mystic realm. However, in the end, they were still suppressed by the Jun family together with the other 9 ancient clans. At this moment, the Heavenly Demon Crown Prince was in the Heavenly Demon Royal Clan's camp. The beautiful Yiksha princess was next to him. "This day has finally come. The Dayan dynasty has suppressed us ancient clans for countless years. Today we can finally uproot them." "And the Jun family. I heard that there are also some members of the Jun family in this dynasty. They will all pay the price." The Heavenly Demon Crown Prince narrowed his eyes. They couldn't take revenge on the Jun family in the mystic realm for now. In that case, they would torture the members of the Jun family in the Dayan dynasty to death first to vent their anger. As for the consequences? The Heavenly Demon Crown Prince believed that the Demon God Palace would definitely protect him. Because he had the bloodline of the Demon God, he had endless potential. In the future, he would at least become a supreme being of the Demon Tao. This was the Heavenly Demon Crown Prince's confidence and reliance. Recommended reading: Load File 2013.